All right, 3 o'clock on a Thursday. Welcome aboard the post-game show alongside Elijah Campbell again.
Who?
I'm Jay Phillips, Ed Bird at Master Control. If you missed it yesterday, Elijah, kind enough to volunteer his services after a full morning of the early game. Yesterday, today, tomorrow. And as pure coincidence would have it, I did not know this until this morning. Now, for those of you who didn't hear yesterday, Elijah is volunteering his services, but I have decided on my own to pay him tomorrow with a case of beer. It's a case of beer of his choice, but as good fortune would have it, and we really should have done something more about it than just talk about it. Today, in the United States of America, is National IPA Day.
Yes, it is. I didn't know this until you brought it to my attention earlier today, and I said, Jay Phillips, this is a sign from God.
It is.
It is divine intervention.
It's like the Blues Brothers were on a mission from God. But apparently the first Thursday of August is National IPA Day. I, again, should have known this.
I guess it's an annual thing.
Apparently.
Why August, or why a Thursday in August? Not just any Thursday, the first Thursday in August.
It's a good day to drink beer. So it was yesterday. So is tomorrow, my personal opinion.
Well, I really like to limit myself for days that just end in Y.
Yeah, that's true.
The ones that don't feel, doesn't feel right.
I don't disagree with you. I really don't. But we'll see what we can do about that. But if you have more suggestions for Elijah today, most specifically on IPAs,
yes,
we had a lot of good suggestions yesterday. On that note, in just a few minutes, we have a start bench drop that features brewers, not Ryan and Liz and the family.
Not Prince Fielder or Ricky Weeks.
That's right.
Ben Sheets, Robin Yount.
Yeah, Robin Yount.
Jeff Jenkins.
Paul Molitor.
Yeah, none of those guys.
No.
No former
South
Seattle Pilots either.
South Carolina's own Gorman Thomas.
Ooh.
Who grew up here in Columbia, then moved to Charleston. Good friend of Tommy's. Makes a hell of a barbecue sauce.
But not him either.
Not him either. No, these are actual people that make beer.
Not even Richie Sexton.
That's right. So we'll have that for you coming up. And who's the new kid that just got hurt?
The
Miz,
Zarowski. Yeah,
but not the wrestler.
No,
right?
Just the pitcher.
Just the pitcher.
Miraculously became an all-star after 5 starts. It's crazy. He must have thrown 5 no-hitters.
No, he didn't actually. Just the commissioner thought it would be a good idea to have a young star who throws 100 miles an hour get in the all-star game.
Well,
he earned it.
Yeah. Well, good thing we don't have a bunch of those in
But Nathan Eovaldi didn't, right?
Yeah, the guy who might win the ERA title.
I think he's going to win the Cy Young in the American League this year. Anyway, we got a lot of Gamecock stuff to get to. No guests on today's program. There will be a guest tomorrow, however. Our very good friend Langston Moore is going to join us.
Quick response, Mr. Moore.
Yeah, he said he can do it. 3 o'clock hour tomorrow.
Oh, man, the boys.
So jumping right in. Yeah, it'll be fun. But we have tons of sound from a bunch of Gamecocks, offensive players, defensive players. I can go ahead and share with you today's poll question. I wasn't sure how this was going to go. And, I mean, there's no judgment here. Again, there's really rarely a wrong choice for one of these. But I asked today, which of these Southeastern Conference quarterbacks is most, and I put that in all caps, most important to his team's success this season? In alphabetical order, your choices are Taylon Green of Arkansas, DJ Lagway of Florida, Diego Pavia of Vanderbilt, Lenoris Sellers, South Carolina. Which of those 4 young men is most important to his team's success? And you may say, well, Jay, define success. Improvement to some degree from last season.
For South Carolina, I would say that is making the college football playoff.
That would be, because I think if you go from 9 to 10, then you're in.
I think if you're Florida, it's get to 9 wins.
Yep.
Maybe 10, right?
DJ went, 6-1
as a starter. Yep. In the game that they lost, he left the game early against Georgia due to injury, and they were up 10-3 whenever he got hurt.
I still don't think they would have won, but they were winning.
Well, Georgia didn't really convince me a lot in that second half by barely beating E.J. Warner. It took a while before they were able to get themselves back to winning that game. But for Florida, I think that's what that would look like, is maybe 9 wins. I don't think they're making 10, but I think 9 is a very doable goal for the Gators. For Talon Green in Arkansas, it's don't get your coach fired. And for Diego Pavia and Vanderbilt, it is to win 6+ games again, or maybe get to 7 or 8.
Well, and for Talon Green, I mean, they beat Texas Tech in a bowl game last year.
Rather convincingly.
You know, and that put them at 7 overall wins. They finished 6-6. So, I mean, is a 7-5 regular season. Again, anything would be a technical improvement if you just win one more game. So that's kind of what I'm going for. And look, I could have put a bunch of, I mean, you can argue, well, Jay, what about the other 12 quarterbacks in the conference? And sure, you know, we can do that. But I just looked at guys that I really felt like have been, for instance, like, you know, Nussmeier, tremendous. Arch Manning, tremendous. You know, Gunnar Stockton, I think is going to be just fine. I think, you know, the quarterbacks over at both Alabama schools, you know, up at UT, you know, is Aguiar going to be a guy? You could make a case for plenty. So I'm not trying to single these guys out and say I don't think the other 12 have as much importance. I just looked at guys that I feel like became such specific focal points for who their team is.
Oh, they carry their teams.
You know,
that's the thing, right? Lenore Sellers last year, that Clemson game carried them.
Yeah,
I mean they were losing at the line of scrimmage a lot in pass protection. All the highlight plays you saw from Lenoris, him escaping pressure.
Yeah.
That was a putting your team on your back to win a football game type.
He was a football Sherpa.
He was,
you know?
Right. Yeah, he really was. Up here, and I'll take you to where
are we going?
Yeah, exactly. You tell me the destination, I'll get us there, right? Talon Green had to do that a lot at Arkansas last year, too. And if you look at what happened with DJ Lagway when Graham Mertz goes down, DJ Lagway almost single-handedly brought them back to beat Tennessee.
And they don't have a Mertz this year.
They don't have a Mertz this year because it's DJ Lagway. This is specific.
And how hurt is he? You know, there was a piece about him today. There's a growing feeling, whether it's fair or not, but it's based on evidence that he is an injury-prone guy. Again, in basically less than a year, he's had 4 separate injuries, and not to the same place. 4 completely different
parts of his body.
Yeah, hamstring, calf / Achilles, shoulder, sports hernia.
Not good.
No, man, and it's becoming for a lot of people down there. I think. Matt Hayes had the piece on it from Jacksonville. You know, what's next? Because you have to almost believe there's going to be one. You don't want to believe that, but I think it's a fair. It's a fair thought to have in your mind.
Well, I mean, I'm noticing a trend here, and I think you're noticing a trend here, and I think you know, if you're listening to this right now, you're noticing a trend here with what is happening with DJ Lagway and his stability and his ability to stay on a football field. It's not.
What is it they say? The best ability is availability.
Yes. Yeah. Sometimes that is your best ability, and that would be his best ability this year is to just be on the field because he can be that type of game changer. Even if you just don't look at numbers, you just watch a lot of the throws that guy makes, and they are big boy throws.
Right.
Like they are throw the receiver open type throws, and you watch some of them. Like this summer, I was able to come across some all 22 footage DJ Lagway somebody posted, which you can't just get. Like that's not readily available. It's like almost trying to get into Fort Knox and bring gold out, right? Like you cannot get it. You must have a plug. This person must have. But I saw it, and I saw some of the clips that they showed from that Ole Miss game, and the whole caption's like, this is an NFL throw. And I look at it, I'm like, yeah, you're right. That is stupid. You should not be able to make that throw and throw somebody open who had no business being open. That's the type of talent, like arm talent, DJ Lagway has as well. That's going to help them immensely, which is an interesting part of this question that you posed in terms of who's being more important. How do we measure who is more important to whom, right? To me, I just look at the supporting cast for all those quarterbacks, and I'm like, all right, well, which of these teams cannot afford the most to lose their quarterback? Now, none of them can.
Right.
I'll preface this with that. If Carolina, Vanderbilt, Arkansas, and Florida lose their quarterbacks for an extended amount of time, it will become a lost season, right? I think
Carolina?
That's how it would be.
Does Carolina have a quarterback on the roster today that is as good or better than Robbie Ashford was last year?
Maybe.
I mean, we don't really know.
Not as athletic. None of them
I don't know if we know
as fast.
Yeah.
I don't know if we know for sure because we don't have any sample size of them in real games. But we know the coaches really like them.
Right.
And clearly they liked Aaron Nolan enough to get him in the transfer portal. I think what coaches do or teams do in terms of what they address in the offseason tells you a lot about what they thought about a potential group coming back. Now, Robbie left in the transfer portal on his own accord, so he could finally start. He's got one last year of eligibility.
Go to Wake Forest?
He did go to Wake Forest. So I'm pulling for him. I'm hoping he
sure.
He becomes a starter there. Would love to see him get one last full year of being a quarterback at the college football. Yeah, he can get his degree from there, and that's going to look really good on resumes for years to come.
Good school.
But there was a need to get somebody, and Carolina clearly felt good enough to get about Aaron Nolan to take him from the portal based off of maybe asking around with other coaches and what they evaluated in high school. He was a highly touted recruit, so there was no shortage of film on him his last year in high school. I think they have an idea. I don't think anybody outside of that building, though, truly knows if you have an upgrade over Robbie Ashford from last year.
Yeah, and you probably don't want to find out.
I know I don't want to find out. No, absolutely.
So, again, go to jphillips1075. I'll have Elijah retweet this on the station feed. Which of these SEC quarterbacks is most important to his team's success? Or, again, I like the way you rephrased the wording. Which of these quarterbacks can his team, which school can't lose their quarterback? That might be that might
the
be
most. Who's the most dependent on this player to get them to where they want to be?
And again, the choices in alphabetical order, so as not to think I'm favoring one over another. Talon Green from Arkansas, DJ Lagway, Florida, Diego Pavia, Vanderbilt, Lenora Sellers, South Carolina. We'll give you some results throughout the course of the afternoon, and you might have an idea as to which way this goes, but we'll see. But put some thought into it. And
I voted, and I think I'm the only person there. You have 60 votes right now. I think I'm the only person to vote for
the one you voted for.
Option.
Yeah. I think based on the numbers, if I can kind of tell who you voted for.
I think you could do the math and maybe do some like reverse engineering there to see if there is just one vote for that particular person.
Right.
I think you'd be correct.
Also have a question. This is not so much a rhetorical question, but this is for you, Mr. Campbell, and for those of you listening as well. And you can hit us up with thoughts on the Firehouse Subs text line or on Twitter. But can a 9-win team, South Carolina I'm talking about, really be able to use an us against the world mentality? And I'm not saying I don't know that Shane is going to be preaching that to his players. Where do they draw lines on how good they were, who they're expected to be, internally and externally, but you might have to look at times and think nobody really still believes in us because again around here or like a lot of places, it's what we say about Texas too. Not to equate Carolina and Texas directly in terms of what they have talent wise right now, or expectation wise, but you got to go do it again. Okay, great. Hey, good. What'd you do last year? Awesome.
You got to stack seasons.
Do it again. That's it. There's no, oh, good for you. Pat yourself on the back.
Yeah.
And don't worry about this year. No, go do it again.
You got to stack them.
So can Carolina use an us against the world mentality? Should they? As a fan, would you want them to? Or would you want them to go out there going, no, man, we're going to bully you around. We're just as strong as, whatever other big state you.
Got strong thoughts on this.
So we'll have that throughout the afternoon for you as well. Some NFL things to get to. Apparently, one story we had yesterday has an addendum now, which I think is funny. And again, on the other side, start, bench, drop on National IPA Day. We're going to have you start, bench, and drop 3 very prominent brewers of IPAs. Not Milwaukee baseball players or former Gamecock slashes.
Yeah, because not Craig Counsell.
No, not Craig Counsell. All right, lots more to do. Or Cecil Cooper. We can keep going, man, so we better stop.
I'd go all day. Ricky Weeks.
You're listening to the postgame show. All right, tell you a lot about integrated media and what they can do for you and for your house when it comes to getting ready for not just this football season, but for many, many football seasons to come, or anything else that you like to watch. It doesn't have to be football. You can watch a movie, too, every once in a while. You should probably watch mostly football.
Pickleball's on TV now.
I do like pickles. But I also let you know that Integrated Media's guys also are the owners and operators of both Pro Swing locations, and they have a fantastic event coming up next week and throughout the month. It's called Swing for a Cause. And here's what you do. You sign up, and you'll play an indoor round at either Pro Swing location on August 16th or 17th. You choose. Then you'll play a actual round of golf at Cobblestone on August 21st. Winners get cool prizes. All helps a great cause. Want to be a part of this? It's a really cool event. Check them out at proswingcolumbia.com. All right, 19 minutes after 3 o'clock on this Thursday. Welcome back in. Jay and Elijah with you. Post-game show rolling on. Lots of Gamecock sound that we're going to get to throughout the afternoon. We got Jalen Kilgore. We got Brandon Cisse. We got Peyton Williams, Sean Murphy, Fred, J.R. Johnson, Jared Brown, Jordan Dingle. Lots from Boaz Stanley I want to get to. Michael Smith. Elijah is on the hunt for South Carolina's next easy button. Will it be a tight end?
It worked pretty well last year.
Doing the shoulder shruggy guy?
Last year was the ideal year for the tight ends always open guy. If you are tight end always open guy and you know who you are,
right.
Last year was maybe one of your favorite teams in the history of football because Josh Smith just so happened to always be open.
Yeah, great point.
You're validated, my friend.
So today's Start Bench Drop in honor of National IPA Day. Again, as an IPA super fan, stan, as it were, right?
If you will, that's what the kids call it. Yeah, you are correct. Yeah, you are picking up lingo.
Well, when you have 4 of them, you better learn something.
This is an evolution that we're witnessing in real time.
Ed Bird doesn't have the hotkey that you used to have earlier, so I won't let him.
The swag and the merch.
It's fire.
Fire.
Ed, if you find that one and want to play it, that's perfectly fine. Anyway, in the meantime, Start Bench Drop today is these 3. They're national, all right? So we could have gone local. Listen, this is not a knock on our local brewery friends because they all make some really good beers, man. I mean, I'm telling you, like our friends at Columbia Craft, where we'll be doing some shows for football season. They have a fantastic IPA called Little Nostalgia Goggles. Love it.
The kids would say it is.
Oh, it's coming. Hang on. Well, we'll get.
You know what the kids are going to say about what they have over at Little Nostalgia Goggles specifically.
Yeah, it doesn't want to play.
Doesn't want to play.
Yeah, swag and the merch. It's fire. There it is. All right.
That's what the kiddos say.
There we go. Do we remember what the context was when you recorded that and then looped it back in?
Absolutely not. None whatsoever. Have already forgotten what the entire context.
Is there a way to at least see what date you made that, and then we could maybe go back into the archive?
Oh, man. That's a really good question. Maybe.
Probably. Do we still have that? I don't know how long our archive lasts anymore.
Oh, it lasts a while.
Okay.
And everything's on our YouTube page, Jay Phillips.
That's fair. That's true. Yeah, internet's forever.
Yeah, on the Game TV.
Too bad when we had our server crash years ago that wasn't on the internet.
Oh, the phone call, yes.
That wasn't on the internet.
You tell that.
Well, I still don't understand. That's something I don't get. Like, I really don't understand how you could have a redundant backup and they both went. They were both lost at the same time.
Doesn't sound like it doesn't backup.
I kind of think there was never actually a backup to the backup, and that we were just told there was.
Looked on the bench, quarterback gets hurt. Oh well.
That's like putting something. That's like hiding something at your house that and then have a copy of it. Like say your will, or something. Like I have a copy of my will in the top desk drawer. I have the second copy in the drawer underneath it.
Oh,
and then the whole desk burns. It's like, well, what's the point?
What's the point? Oh, I am very guilty of this. One time I got a spare key for my car, and I put it on my key ring. It was like, I want to put this up when I get home, and I forget to do it.
Sure.
And I forget to do it for weeks. And guess what? I didn't have access to when I locked my keys in my car. My keys and the spare, because they're all together. There was no point of the spare. And I could hear my dad wanting to strangle me through the phone when he asked, "Oh, buddy, where's your spare key?" And I was like, about that. Yeah.
How old were you?
It's about 17. Yeah. About that.
Not good. All right, Start Bench Drop. These national brewers of fantastic. Listen, not just IPAs, but we're focusing on the IPAs on National IPA Day. Goose Island out of Chicago.
Can you make a goose sound?
They just honk. Said no. You ever made a goose mad on a golf course?
I haven't, but I wouldn't
advise it.
I've heard they're mean.
I wouldn't advise it. Sierra Nevada. 2 locations, California and North Carolina.
Yes.
And Wicked Weed, Asheville's own. So those are your 3. Start, bench, drop those breweries. And if you don't like IPAs, but you've been to those breweries or you just like their beers, then...
They are craft breweries.
I'm going to tell you right now. I won't tell you mine yet. I'll do mine later. But I'm going to tell you, this was not too difficult for me.
I had to really think about it. I had to weigh out what it is I value. Do I value which one has my favorite?
Right.
Because one of them has my favorite beer of all time.
Right.
Or do I value depth?
Sure.
And that is what I'm still weighing out.
Yeah. And I think with the depth question, that's the brewery that I'm going to put on my bench because you know what you have when you have a great bench? You got quality depth.
Oh, that's a really good point.
You know?
That's a really good point.
So that's I know my depth and I know my bench. I got my star. I got it. And the one I'm going to drop is great. These are three fantastic breweries. Again, it makes it hard, but it wasn't that hard today. Not for me personally. So there's that. All right, let's get into it. Ed, I'm going to take you, if you will, sir, to today's cut list. You were there yesterday. Let's start with the star of the D, if you will, Jalen Kilgore. Because I think you mentioned this. I want you to set this up a little bit. You talked a lot yesterday when you were down there with them. They're big on forcing turnovers this year.
Yeah, Shane said at media days they've forced more takeaways in the SEC since 2021.
Yeah. Cut number one on today's list, Ed Bird. Here's Jalen Kilgore on doing just that.
I feel like we got a lot of good guys that's willing to go towards the ball. We got a good D-line that's going to fight towards the ball, big, strong guys. We got lockdown DBs, backup DBs that's locked down. So just putting guys in. If we happen to have somebody that go out and that a backup has to come in, it's not going to be no let-up. So we just plan on getting to the ball every trip.
That becomes a mindset, and I think you talked a lot about that. You know, wanting to punch the ball out, wanting to just get everybody around the ball, and it becomes contagious. I would think to them.
Well, it does. I mean, you see somebody bust their tail to get to the ball and punch one out. I think that gets everybody excited for it. You see somebody do it by example, and then you're like, oh, you could do it. I can too. Let's keep these coming. I think that's one of the reasons why Charles Tillman's one of the most influential players in the history of football.
Right.
Because you know what everybody does now? The peanut punch.
Right. Everybody
does it. Everybody does it. They're drilling that on campus right now. And they asked several of those players yesterday. And sometimes, every now and then, the punch drill would come up, and I'm like, Charles Tillman's his thumbprint still all over the sport of football.
Cut number three, please, Ed. Jalen Kilgore here on just how confident a group South Carolina has at the back of the defense.
The confidence has been very high, especially going through practices, seeing a lot of guys get good reps, bringing guys up, like Cisse coming in, Miles Norwood coming in, Vicari Swain, Judge coming back, and DQ. Just us, me, Judge, and Vicari having that 3 years together, and Miles and Cisse seeing that chemistry that we have, they just fill the pieces of the puzzle.
Once again, I understand from a national perspective, Elijah, the questions about South Carolina's defense. When you have 5 draft picks, you've got a couple of more that are undrafted free agents. So a lot of that defensive rotation is off to professional football or just away from the team now. But I keep coming back to something, and I don't know how subjective I'm being. I certainly don't believe I'm naive about this, but I see depth. I see bodies, and I see guys at least that have had a taste and an understanding. Are we making too much of the departures and not enough of the depth and development?
Yes and no. We have seen. I think we know what the secondary is. We need to see what the defensive line and linebacking rooms are, because that's where there's a lot of talent there. There's also a good share of inexperience. Really, let's use Sean Murphy as an example. Sean Murphy is incredibly talented. I don't think anybody you talk to about Sean Murphy, they rave about his talent. But really, the only sample size you have is the last 4 games of last year at Florida State. Now, he got better over the course of those 4 games, and I think what the coaching staff saw when evaluating him was that improvement over 4 games and say, we can make him even better, right? But you got to see it first, right? I could see potential in anybody or anything, but if that person doesn't work or, whatever it is, work to fulfill that potential, then that's all it is potential. Gabriel Brown-Lodindi, another really good example. Went to Texas A&M as a highly touted recruit, coming out of high school, part of a historic recruiting class for A&M, and it hasn't panned out in terms of being one of the top 15 players of his class. You wouldn't say that he is one of those, right? But the physical tools are still there. And if there's something you can do to maybe get what that potential was out of him, then you see the development as well. There's a good mix of having that developed talent there and still needing to see more out of a specific group.
Got some answers from Gabe on the other side here. Lots more from the Gamecock defense. You're listening to the Thursday postgame show.
striking at the ball, the ball is ours, so we're trying to get it back at all points. So, that comes with, seeing the running back arm, striking at it, trying to get the ball constantly, trying to do jump balls. The ball is ours, so we got to have that mindset that we're trying to get it back.
Gabe Brownlow-Dindy, that Elijah just mentioned a few minutes ago, transfer in from A&M on that defensive line, and more from him in a second. Tell us more about this kid in
Big
terms
fella.
of what you've in terms of what you've learned.
Big fella. I can't remember if he qualifies as a biggin or not, but
Let's find out.
passes the
Let's find out. What is it?
eye test.
Y'all want 6'2"?
6'2", 310. That is the bare minimum,
All
right? If you're 6'2", 309, sorry, not a biggin. You're close, but you got to put on a little more weight to become a biggin.
Oh, he's an easy ding, ding, ding. He's 6'3", 315.
Ah, see,
So, yeah,
Gabriel Brownlow-Dindy, biggin.
Yeah, he's in.
He is. He perfectly qualifies.
Yeah.
So in terms of what we know about him, A, biggin, B, bringing him in to be a run stopper. And certainly what I like about him is there seems to be a maturity about him of somebody that has gone through some college football challenges. You could tell he's somebody who learned from his experience at A&M. He was asked about what he took. It was actually, I asked him what he learned from that experience at A&M and how he was able to apply that, here at South Carolina. And he mentioned what leadership looks like. He could be at Texas A&M what he considered to be a chill guy, quieter guy, because there were players older than him that were on the depth chart ahead of him that took hold of those roles, right? But now here, he's finding his voice a little bit as a leader, as somebody who is not just competing for a spot to be a starter in the interior of the defensive line, but somebody who is going to be asked to do a lot. Somebody's going to be asked to help replace a lot of what you lost last year. And I think that opportunity is kind of what has inspired him to maybe be a little more vocal in those team rooms on the practice field than maybe he was at Texas A&M.
Did you ask him if he left because of those Yale leader guys?
I don't think I had to ask because I think I know the answer, and that is yes. I think it creeps out even the strangest of us.
Cut number 13, please, Ed Bird. Staying with Gabe Brownlow-Dindy, talking about how Travian Robinson has started to make him be a better football player again.
He's given me a confidence that, I kind of lost when I was at A&M. He kind of reassures me that, I do have the ability to be able to play SEC football, not only have the ability to play it, but dominate it. And so I feel like that's been something great that he's ensured me ever since I got here.
I'd be curious to know more about those relationships. I think we saw last year just how important T-Rob is. Sterling Lucas, too. I'm not going to take away because they work together to make sure that defensive front is solid, but T-Rob works with the guys in the middle. But so many of them could do so many things, and that comes back around to development. And I wonder how much of that is the confidence that son, I know what you can do. Let's go put it into practice.
Well, that's what makes South Carolina the perfect destination for someone like Gabriel Brownlow-Dindy because the examples are everywhere, right? I think the best example is TJ Sanders. Let's take it back all the way to 2023, which I think we're all old enough to remember, where he has that game at Georgia. He has the first half of a lifetime all over the field. And TJ Sanders is one of them, if not the main reason that South Carolina has the lead at halftime at the defending national champions. And then you see the rest of the year, it kind of comes and goes, right? Sometimes might go a game or two. You don't really hear his name called that much. Not as consistent in the run game in terms of stopping the run for the opposing offense. And then you go back to last year, which I know we are all old enough to remember. He is in the backfield so many plays. Every single game you hear TJ Sanders' name on the TV broadcast. You notice him a lot more in terms of the will to stop the run. So much of stopping the run isn't just talent and technique. It's the will to do it. You got to really want to do it. That's one of the things on defense that requires the most just raw effort. And you saw that coached out of him. And I think once TJ kind of realized he can do that every play. He can do what he did against Georgia in 23 on every play if he wanted to. And you finally saw him get that dog in him and maybe clean up a couple of things here and there from a fundamental and technique standpoint. And then you saw him turn himself into a guy that had potential, the magic P word, and turn that potential into being a second-round draft pick. That's the perfect example.
Right.
Gabriel Brownlow-Dindy can easily look at TJ Sanders and say, if they did that to that guy, they can do it to me, because I can see myself as being equally physically gifted as somebody like TJ. And I think those examples that have kind of stacked up over the last couple of years make it to where somebody like Gabe, who maybe didn't maximize their talents at their last stop, can come to South Carolina, be in the program a little bit, change their body a bit, get a little bit more ready for SEC play, and then be able to excel.
And on that note, cut 10, Ed Bird. Let's let Gabe tell us in a very quick moment here what he sees in himself.
It's a great question. I don't like to just give myself a certain thing, I can do it all, but I don't know if there's a certain word. I guess powerful. I bring a lot of power to the D line, but I also bring some finesse. So, versatile, I guess you would say.
6'3", 315, power and finesse. I think 100 out of 100 fans will sign up for that.
Absolutely.
If it all comes to fruition.
I think T-Rob signs up for that too.
Yeah.
You can get that out of him. Then you get yourself a pretty good football player. And then you've got a top 20 defense again, because your secondary is good enough. I think that secondary will be able to make plays.
Right.
But when it comes to maybe like an interior pass rush or being able to put pressure on a quarterback, you can make life for your secondary a whole lot easier if you're able to pull that off.
I'm looking at this line, man. I'm telling you, I like a lot. I mean, good one. I'm really. This is it for him, right? Redshirt senior year. So, again, things that Alabama saw in him, it didn't pan out. He's bided his time, ready to make an impact because he wants to play after next year, right? And he's almost a big one. Go tell him to eat a few more plates of spaghetti, man. He's at 6'4", 305.
Yeah, a couple Big Macs ought to do the trick.
Yeah, they want to eat Big Macs, do they? Go ahead. That's okay.
I mean, if we want to turn them in from little ones to big ones, which are not a little one at that size, but you're certainly not classified as a big one.
Well, I wouldn't go eat Big Macs, but you know what I would do, because it's also right there. Just go across the street and have 3 all-star specials from Waffle House.
Ooh, that could do the trick too.
Yeah,
that could absolutely do
that'll
the trick.
Get it done. Because when I eat one all-star special, I feel like I don't need to eat again for 2 days.
You feel like you put on the 10 pounds.
But you know what's really good, man? An all-star special.
Anything in Waffle House.
Pretty much, but all-star special.
It's good for the soul.
Yeah. You want to go do that real quick?
That sounds great.
That's good.
How much is in the stop set?
Yeah, Ed. Just have Ed play some sound. Nick Barrett, 6'3", 322. Xavier Hardy, 6'5", 290. Again, we just said Gabe Brownlow-Dindy, 6'3", 315. Caleb Williams is a big boy at 6. I mean, he's got time to grow too. He's only a freshman.
Yep.
But he's 6'5", 290. He'll get up there.
Oh, get him in this weight program for an entire year? Yeah, he'll get there.
All right, we'll come back on the other side. Start bench drop. It's National IPA Day. Again, tomorrow, Elijah is paid in beer for his services to the postgame show, since he is still doing the early game this week while Terry is away on vacation. Elijah is doing this. So 3 big-time craft breweries, Goose Island, Sierra Nevada, Wicked Weed, start, bench, drop. And got an interesting comment on our quarterback poll question. So that's also running today. Let me give you that again. Which of these SEC quarterbacks is most important to his team's success this season? Taylon Green from Arkansas, DJ Lagway from Florida, Diego Pavia from Vanderbilt, Lenoris Sellers from South Carolina. That's on my Twitter feed, jphillips1075. It's on the station Twitter feed as well. Some results on those things. And again, more suggestions for the beer that I'll be buying Elijah. Whole case, whatever he wants.
It's a big deal. It's a really big decision. Can't mess it up.
And by the time we start the show tomorrow, it'll be here. I mean, I'm bringing it tomorrow. So today's the day to decide, man. Today's the day. You're listening to the postgame show. 11 minutes in front of 4 o'clock on this Thursday. Welcome back into the postgame show. Jay and Elijah with you. Ed Bird at Master Control. Terry Ford enjoying some time off. Elijah back with me on tomorrow's program as well, where he will be paid in beer. One case of beer of his choice.
Call it a three-peat.
That's right. It'll be IPAs, we believe. You'll be
Absolutely.
choosing IPAs. Today is National IPA Day. We did not do this on purpose. We didn't even know, as Elijah and I are both big IPA fans, that today was National IPA. I saw it on Twitter, IPA Day. I was like, wait, what?
It's the perfect place to get all your
I mean, it
information.
couldn't have been any better.
Yeah, there's nothing on Twitter that is factually incorrect at all.
Oh, no, Twitter's great. Have you noticed now, whatever it might be, how many people have that, what is it, Grok, that is the AI bot?
I'd rather ask Gronk.
I know, right? That would be a great segment.
Ask Gronk. Ask Gronk, yeah. So
Instead of J or Nay, like Gronk or Grok.
Hey, Gronk, how many inches are in a foot? 69. That's how that would go.
Remember I said about him last year because he was like doing the bowl game thing or whatever, and I was like, overtime will be like shirtless running into wall contest.
It's a keg stand competition.
Good old Gronk. Anyway, where were we? Start bench drop today is Goose Island, Sierra Nevada, Wicked Weed. Your choice. Where are you pouring a pint? That's what I asked. Where are you pouring a pint? And it doesn't have to be IPAs for those because they all make.
They make a variety.
They make all kinds of.
They make
beers.
lagers
all
too.
All of them do. Yeah, all of them make plenty of good beer. Which of these SEC quarterbacks is most important to his team's success this season? Taylor Green of Arkansas, DJ Lagway of Florida, Diego Pavia of Vanderbilt, Lenoris Sellers of South Carolina. I imagined that it would go this way. Like I say, I'm not bothered by it, but Lenoris Sellers is well out front at 71.8%. Diego Pavia at 17.1. DJ Lagway 9.4. Taylor Green of Arkansas at 1.7%. But we got an interesting hit here from Casey, who says, I'm not understanding some of these. And I think he means the way the vote is going.
Yes, it is very lopsided.
How can anyone say confidently that our QB room, South Carolina, is bad enough there is no hope outside of Mr. Sellers versus Taylor Green, which is who I chose? That being said, with Diego, Vandy will have a losing season. Can't count Florida out. Look.
He hit on exactly why I voted the way I did.
Which was? You want to go tell
Taylor Green.
Yeah. I think I don't know that there's a wrong answer here. I'm kind of with what Casey says. If I look at Carolina's quarterbacking room, and I realize that as we speak, Shane tells us Luke Doty's the number 2. But if you've got somebody who was committed to and attended Ohio State, even if he probably realized, all right, it's not going to work out for me.
Yeah, some fella named Will Howard came in to be that starter.
But there's at least enough there to have you believe that they saw good things. And Ayers from Atlanta, so he's closer to home now and all that kind of stuff. And Cutter Woods, had some flashes. I like you, and I know you were down on the sideline for most of it. I can't ever take too much from a spring game.
No. Limited sample size.
Right.
QBs aren't live.
But I feel like Carolina, from a talent level perspective, is better off right now. I'm talking top to bottom, not just at quarterback, than Arkansas and certainly Vanderbilt.
Oh, definitely.
Not Florida. I think Florida probably is more talented, again, top to bottom, at least from a recruiting ranking standpoint.
Yes. Well, DJ Lagway gets a lot of that love, but they do have weapons on that team. Eugene Wilson is an all-SEC
That's Florida's problem, right? I mean, I think they're underachieving relative to talent level.
Yeah, Jaden Ball, I mean, for a guy who ran for less than 700 yards last year, may be one of the most talented runners in the SEC. They had a loaded running back room. They were feeding a lot of mouths back there. Jaden Ball is going to get a lot of carries. He's going to be potentially an all-SEC guy, too. You look at a lot of, the metrics he has in a smaller sample size, it's incredibly impressive. The offensive line is really good. You have an all-American center right there, too, right? Or at least, a guy who can be an all-American center.
Second-team long snapper, Rocco Underwood. Rocco.
I'm not convinced that's a real name, but I think I might be a Rocco Underwood denier. But on the other end of the ball, too, like defensively, they got dudes. They have NFL caliber talent that now has been at the program for a year or two. This is their jump year.
Right.
Not just for DJ Lagway, but as a team and a unit.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I would, if I'm really looking at this as best I can and trying to parse through every single team's needs and where they are without their guy, I think Taylon Green is who I would choose. Now, again, is there a wrong answer? No.
He's got significantly less to work with.
But, yeah, they just don't have much out there, man.
Yeah, who his leading receivers projected to be? Like the projected number one receiver for Arkansas.
Taylon Green.
Might as well be Omega Blake.
Oh, wow. Okay, good.
Which good for him.
Yeah, pulling for you, Mega.
But that's a lot to ask of him.
It is. More Gamecock football sound, more on the poll question and start bench drop on National IPA Day. Be right back. It's 4 o'clock on this Thursday. Welcome back in. Second hour of the post-game show coming at you from the Herndon Chevy Studios in downtown Columbia, South Carolina, along with Elijah Campbell. I'm Jay Phillips, Ed Bird at Master Control. Terry Ford taking some time away. Good for him.
That's right.
Just saw a tweet go by. Just 4 people have ever won a national championship as a player and a head coach.
Well, Steve Spurrier's first one comes to my mind.
Well, he didn't win one as a player.
Oh, he did. No, he won the Heisman.
Yeah, he won the Heisman. Yeah.
I forget they did not win a national title.
It says Bear Bryant, Bud Wilkinson, Dabo Sweeney, and then it says Scott Frost. And I think this person is trying to get under people's skin.
I like it. You know what? I'm acknowledging that national championship. I'm acknowledging it.
Are you an acceptor or a denier of the national championship?
Full on acceptor. Full on.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm not necessarily a denier of what they did. I mean, they did go undefeated, but see, that's just it. That's what I'm talking about. That's what kind of drives me nuts these days. Is like that's the mindset. They went undefeated, therefore you're the national champion. Like, well, we have a legitimate course of action in order to determine a national champion.
Well, were they late on submitting their paper to enter the playoff?
I don't know what they did
Because
they just
there's
didn't get
there's kind of an element of
what year was that? 17.
17, controlling what you can control, and they controlled what they can control, and that's by smacking up Auburn in the Peach Bowl. The mighty SEC.
Who was 17 champion? Bama?
That'd be correct.
Yeah, I just can't do it. Sorry. Again, cool story, bro. But
because so in 17, we can do
like they'd have gotten in this time around, but they would,
I mean, hey, you won all your games. You're undefeated in SEC play,
right?
Which is, I guess, the standard. If you're undefeated in the SEC, in the regular season, that gets you into the college football playoff every year. But for UCF, it wasn't enough. I'm saying this slightly
I know you are.
But let's go back to the 2017 Auburn team, right? The team that UCF beat in the Peach Bowl.
Right.
They beat Alabama that year at home to get to the SEC championship game.
Okay.
And then
lost to Georgia.
And then UCF beat Auburn.
Okay.
I'll take that as a transitive win over the national champion. So that's all we got because you couldn't let UCF in. This is all we have to work with. So you know what? I accept it.
Who else was in that? I can't remember. Who?
That was the year Alabama beat Clemson and Georgia beat Oklahoma.
Okay. And then Tua had the big play.
Yep. That was 2nd and 26, Devontae Smith in the end zone.
Yeah.
That same Alabama team did lose to Auburn, and that same Auburn team did lose to Central Florida. The math is certainly mathing.
Yeah, listen, I'm a big believer, often at least, in the transitive property of sport.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Because again, the transitive property of sport is what kept Georgia out of the playoff 2 years ago.
It is.
And I still, I'm not here to defend Georgia. I'm here to attack the committee and Bill Hancock for saying, well, they put the 4 best teams in. I'm like, no, you really didn't, though.
But I mean, you had a chance to prove that you were one of the 4 best teams.
I get it.
I had a chance.
I get it. But I
have no sympathy for you if you lose.
I'm not. Again, I don't feel badly. Look, Georgia's doing fine.
Yeah, they're okay.
Yeah, they're doing all right. Again, they had a bad year last year and they won the SEC.
Right. It was a down year.
It was too. That's what's crazy.
They were an unimpressive Georgia team given what the standard has been the previous 3 seasons.
Yeah. And they're
low in turnover margin. They gave up more rushing yards than they did in the last 3 years.
Their losses were bad. The Notre Dame loss was not a bad loss. The Mississippi loss was bad. And they, again, just played a horrible – they played 35 minutes of terrible football against Alabama. And then they played 25 minutes of fantastic football.
That was those 25 minutes of football they played all year.
All year.
And then they stopped playing for 25 seconds.
Yeah, and then for just a second.
And then they lost.
But anyway, start bench drop today. National IPA Day. Start bench drop in alphabetical order. Goose Island, Sierra Nevada, Wicked Weed. And again, this is the entire brewery. All right, all of their selections can count however you see fit. If you just want to make it about their IPAs, that's cool. If they have some kind of all, special holiday stout, which they all do, and you're
do.
down with that.
I do like a good holiday stout once the time arises.
That's about the only time. And stouts are so bleeping heavy.
I can't drink more than one.
And I'm already a guy who drinks heavy beers, right? Because I do like a good, hefty IPA. But a stout, and a stout's almost like, and I'm not a whiskey drinker, but I almost feel like that's like having a whiskey for a beer. Like you got to kind of sip on that thing.
Higher gravity. You certainly can't crush.
But you can't crush it because then you're just like,
tummy ache.
Yeah, you're just too full, man.
I mean, would you consider, I guess, like a Guinness?
Yeah, that's pretty heavy.
Yeah, that's pretty heavy.
That counts.
An Irish car bomb, you consume it quickly enough, doesn't make you feel the best immediately after.
My favorite Irish beer would be Smithwick's. And then a Harp before I would have a Guinness.
Killian's not very high on that list there.
Smithwick's is the same kind. It's a red ale like that, so I prefer Smithwick's.
Okay.
Yeah.
I drank a lot of Killian's in college.
Killian's good, man.
Yeah.
Solid beer. The Bell's Two Hearted people are now making a red ale IPA. So it's got like a mixture of that.
I like that. That's adventurous. Yeah. I like a brewery with a sense of adventure. And Bell's certainly has that.
Yeah,
I do love Bell's.
Bell's, we probably could have put them on
the Firehouse Subs text line did say, in terms of just beers to recommend, the Two Hearted IPA or Two Hearted Ale.
Bell's Two Hearted is.
That's an IPA, yeah.
I think. Oh yeah, absolutely. I would say it's probably, and I mean this. It kind of reset the bar for
I think so.
for IPAs. It's so good. It really did. It's so good that like every other. If you go to any I go to a lot of craft breweries when I'm in whatever town. Right, doesn't matter where I am. And I'll get to talking to a bartender because I just like to ask questions about, especially when it's like they are making their own. Like I had a fun conversation with a guy at Dissolver up in downtown Asheville, which is a small little place down on Lexington. Great little place. Y'all check it out, Dissolver. It's awesome. But he was like, yeah, like, what do you, he was asking me, like, what do you kind of measure them against? And I was like, dude, Bell's Two Hearted. He's like, yep. Yeah, like any bartender, like anybody at craft, Bell's Two Hearted. It just it may not be their favorite, but it's
a standard.
It's set a standard.
Yeah,
it's set
certainly
a national bar, and if you can compete with that, then you've made a good beer.
Certainly, yeah. So, if you put in that category,
yeah. But yeah, good call on whoever sent that in. Thank you for that. So anyway, start bench drop, Goose Island, Sierra Nevada, Wicked Weed, and then tomorrow Elijah's being paid in beer for volunteering his services. So I'm not going to let him volunteer. He will be a paid employee. The case of beer of his choice, however he wants to total up the 24 beers, is up to him. 4 6-packs, 2 12s, a case. Again, I even said I would be happy enough to go get him 24 individuals.
It would be a little bit more of an ask.
It takes a while, but there's places where I can go, grab single cans. But I'd probably prefer not to do that. But if that's what you want, that's what I'll do, man. It's up to you. You tell me. So at the end of the show today, or maybe in the first thing in the morning, and when you're done on the air in the morning, you hit me up, and your beer will be here when we start tomorrow's show at 3 o'clock.
We just got a recommendation on the Firehouse Subs text line of Terrapin Hopsecutioner.
Sure.
Prepare for that.
Sure.
To be on that list.
I'm telling you, Terrapin in Athens, Creature Comfort in Athens. I got you that automatic.
That was awesome.
I don't know if they're still making it, but to the person, and maybe they know, but have you ever had Chopsecutioner from Terrapin?
No.
Okay, they made it exclusively for the Braves. Now, they didn't make it exclusively at Braves games, but it was like a Braves-themed exclusive from Terrapin.
Okay.
And it's Hopsecutioner, but it was fermented in addition to the regular way they make Hopsecutioner. It was fermented with ash chips, like ash wood baseball bat.
Oh, wow.
Dude, it was outstanding.
I can imagine Blooper bringing over like ash chips from bats.
So good. And it wasn't like some kind of like super woody whatever beer, right? But it had that hint. You could easily tell it was there.
Yeah.
But it didn't overwhelm you with anything, like if you've ever had, like you can taste like oak in a whiskey. You can taste oak in a wine. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could taste the ash.
I can taste it on a tree.
You can. That's true. I don't. It's not as tasty though. It's
Not
as,
but you can.
You know, or like when you eat like you're not supposed to eat the stick on a popsicle. Like, it's like, oh, that's
you
kinda,
can.
You can.
Yeah, you're just not supposed to.
I don't recommend that.
Ed Bird didn't like that.
I don't recommend that.
I think I scared him.
But Chopsecutioner made it a few years ago. I haven't seen it in a couple of years, so I don't know if they're still doing it or if it's only exclusive at a Braves game anymore. And I'll be honest with you, I haven't been to Terrapin in Athens the last couple of trips we've made with my daughter, so I couldn't tell you if it was there. But mainly because, sorry, folks at Terrapin, plug your ears, but we're just Creature Comfort's right downtown, and it's really good.
It's convenient and it's really good.
Really good.
It's hard to beat that combination.
You got to drive out to Terrapin or get an Uber out to Terrapin. And Athens is not the greatest town for Ubers.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
It's
condensed.
Well, and it's just not not a lot of people. But anyway, it's a great town. I'm not dogging Athens is a fine town. But
someone's going to clip that and say that you are.
No.
I'll fully support.
And I have so many Gamecock fans like, how's that working out for you? I'm like, look, man, she ain't there for football. She's there for what she's studying.
You're telling me Kirby didn't recruit her to play on the line?
No. She'd be a slot receiver if she were on the football team.
Punter, maybe.
I don't know. I don't know what her kicking skills are like. I don't know. Place kicker.
We
probably.
got good hands. Like
she's got
reliable.
Good,
you know.
Yeah. She's like
good route runner.
Like Lad McConkey. She could get out over the middle. And,
okay. Yeah.
Catch a ball on the flat.
I like it. Get a little yak afterwards.
Yeah. She knows what she's doing. She's got some elusiveness. Got another hit on the on our poll question today.
Sounds violent.
Again, Taylon Green, DJ Lagway, Diego Pavia, Lenora Sellers, those are your options. Which of those is the most important to his team's success this season? Ryan says Pavia is the most important to his team. Without him, Vandy isn't competitive. Most important relative to expectations is a different story. That, he says, would be Lenora Sellers.
I can agree with that. If we're combining like what your supporting cast is and the expectations,
right? When
I went through the expectations of all four of those schools, the only one where I mentioned the goal is playoffs is South Carolina.
Right.
Florida can. That schedule
I think Florida wants to.
So if they make the playoff with that schedule,
right,
we are looking at this being a legitimate title contender, even if they're at 9.
I agree, man. I agree with you. And I think, too, one of the things that we talked about at the top of the show with this poll question was defining the word success. And for me, success is going to be basically where you were last year plus one.
Yes.
And again, anything beyond that is gravy.
Taking a step.
Yeah, but you've got to take a step forward. That's going to be a measure of success. If you hold steady, I suppose, and look, to be fair and kind of to Ryan's point there, if Vanderbilt goes 6-6 again, that may be something for Clark Lee to celebrate.
Yes.
If South Carolina goes 9-3 again, it's not going to be failure.
No. I don't think so at all.
Especially with that schedule, but what are the three? Because last year, the three, you had the quote better losses than the two teams you were being compared directly against. The problem was they beat you.
Those two teams made up two of the three.
Yeah, that's that might have been it for Carroll. Who knows? There were several things, but that's fair, man. That's a
totally
fair assessment.
Yep.
I mean, how'd you do against them? Well, you lost.
Yeah.
And in one of them, you lost in your building by a lot.
Those games were playoff games, essentially, for you.
In some way, that's still, and that, by the way, thank you for saying that, because I still think that proves that the regular season in college football isn't being diluted.
It's
different.
Matters. Yes.
But they all still matter.
Yes.
Those games mattered a lot. So, yeah, success is where you were last year plus one. For Vandy and for Arkansas, they finished 6-6 and went to bowl games. Florida finished 7-5, and Carolina was 9-3. So what you did last year plus one, I'll consider that a measure of success. But Ryan, you make a good point, man. And Diego Pavia, not only is he important as a football player, I think he's important between their ears. He really fires them up. We got a lot more to get to. Again, hit us up on the poll question. Hit us up on Start Bench Drop. More Gamecock football sound from camp as the postgame show rolls on. Welcome back in. Post-game show rolling on here on a Thursday, 20 minutes after 4 o'clock. Jay and Elijah with you on National IPA Day. Lots of Gamecock football to discuss. Get into a few things around the college scene nationally as well, including a list of the best 25 college football coaches of the century. This century.
Am I on there?
No, you should have been. I mean, and again,
Bummer.
based on
Glaring omission.
your average, which is
29 yards per play.
you should have been. But I think the sample size, it's kind of like you wouldn't have qualified for like a batting title because you don't have the minimum number of plate appearances.
Sounds like the voters don't believe in love at first sight. Sometimes you don't need sample size. Ed Bird knows what I'm talking about. Sometimes you don't need it. Sometimes when you know, you know.
Speaking of,
Why did we become so jaded as a society?
I don't know, man. That's a well. I mean, but again, am I jaded because I don't accept Central Florida's national championship and you do?
I think you are.
Yeah,
They come from Titusville, man.
Well,
They're right next to Disney World. That's where the magic happens, and you are
Well, I did speak of
denying
that
what your eyes tell you.
when we were looking up how big Gabe Brownlow-Dindy is. I did see that he too is from Disney area. He's from Lakeland, which is
Okay.
right there.
Yeah,
That's
I'm sure Gabe believes in some magic.
20 minutes from Disney World. So we'll get into more Gamecock sound for you in just a second. Central Florida, like good for Scott Frost going back and whatever, and Gus Malzahn quit to go just call plays up in Tallahassee.
He quit to quit.
Yeah. But I again, call me whatever, and I get called a lot of things.
I'll call you Jay.
Well, adjective-wise here. I'm not real big on UCF's long-term future in the Big 12.
Yeah, probably not great.
So I don't know.
It hasn't been great.
Cynical, just call me pessimistic.
But guess who just walked through that door?
Scott Frost.
Scott Frost.
Yeah.
Do you believe in
he
magic
play?
now, Jay Phillips?
Can he play? He doesn't play.
He did.
Yeah, he did. But can he? Not anymore.
He still looks like he's in decent shape.
Well, if they let him, then actually, you know what? If they let him, I don't think that's going to be a whole lot more helpful.
No.
I just don't. I mean, them in Cincinnati, again, I hate feeling that way because I know why they got him in. I understand fully why they're in the Big 12. I'm not here to blame anybody. But let's face it, with like last year's additions, like that was solid. Colorado, Utah, and the two Arizonas, that's Houston.
One Arizona team may or may not have won the league.
Yeah. BYU, like that's but Central Florida and Cincinnati.
Hey, Cincinnati, once Luke Fickell gets canned at Wisconsin, he can come
go
back.
back.
And then you'll have Luke Fickell back at Cincinnati where he took them to a college football playoff. Scott Frost won UCF a national championship. The boys are back in town.
We'll see.
And
I'd like to be
they
wrong.
will become additions to the conference.
If I'm wrong, I'll be fine with that. I will, but I don't have a ton of long-term faith in their abilities in that conference.
This is a microcosm of societal problem. We've all been jaded.
You were down yesterday. You want to hear from? How about J.R. Johnson? You want to do that?
JR was, we can hear from JR.
Yeah, these are short answers here. We'll play this. Ed, number 18 on today's list, please, sir. Again, what's the linebacking core going to look like? Well, at least in terms of what they want to be, here's what Mr. Johnson had to say.
I feel like the linebacker room will be able to force turnovers by punching the ball. I say we emphasize that a lot, punching the ball, getting a punch. Obviously, you want to get a pick and stuff, but those things help us.
I mean, I'm obviously sensing a theme. You were down there with him all day. Opportunistic, forcing turnovers. Opportunistic, forcing turnovers. That is clearly, I mean, I'm sure other drums are being banged, if you will.
Right.
But I'd like to know what the rhythm is because it feels to me like by and large it is opportunistic and forced turnovers is the number one drill right now.
It certainly helped that I asked them all that exact same question for discussion today, just to get more more sample size.
Sure.
So I may have been at the beginning of the line of the drum line, if you will. But there were a lot of common answers. That's what I was looking for, though. I was looking for what the common answers are, because that's when you can really get to where the message is with coaching too, right? And a lot of it that I noticed, especially with linebackers and defensive linemen, was the swarming to the ball. Get to the ball. Everybody get to the ball. And some of them mentioned the drills they would do, and like the Peanut Tillman punch-out drill. Definitely something that's in effect. And you saw David Busey last year against Alabama square up, punch one out on special teams. They didn't recover that fumble, but you got a chance to recover a fumble and get really good field position. And that could have really flipped the game if you were able to just get on top of the ball. But I think there is a certain lockstep with how this team discusses football and discusses their philosophy on forcing turnovers and the best ways of doing that. And it does seem like one of the common denominators was that it's effort-based. And I think that is a good thing for everybody to kind of be on the same page about.
Ed, number 15 on today's cut list, please. This is Sean Murphy. I want you to set up a little bit of your talk with Sean, because you did a good job yesterday of telling us how he feels about himself. This is his third school now.
Yep. 3 years.
And then we'll hear from him in a second. But just kind of more on where you felt he was approaching his role this year.
I think there's an eagerness. I think he's very well aware of what the linebacking room lost from last year. And I think he's really confident in his abilities. When I first talked to him back in the winter, I asked about, you finally got run and you got a lot of action in the last 4 games of last season when you came back from your early season injury. And you got, statistically, I mean, you look at it, you got better through those 4 games. And he says, along the lines, paraphrasing here, like, he's hitting his stride as a player right now. Like, this is really the time to buy low on Sean Murphy, because that stock ain't going to be much lower once the season starts. And if you ask him, he is going to reach another level with the opportunity that he has at South Carolina in this room that has a lot of speed as well. He was describing the linebacking room, described them as freaks, right? He gets to be in that room with them, and I think everybody that you talk to would tell you Sean Murphy's one of those guys. And out of all the defensive players that could have been brought up at SEC Media Days, when I was talking to some people, I was surprised to hear Sean Murphy was one of those that, even with a small sample size, other people really believed in.
Quick cut, but yeah, Ed, 15, here's what Elijah was alluding to from Sean Murphy.
Right now? I think we got some physical freaks in the linebacker room. I think we're very aggressive, we're fast, very physical. I feel like we do a lot of good things, and we're all on the same page when it comes to everything.
This linebacking room, again, very deep. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 officially listed as linebackers. And a couple of guys on that edge could probably be linebackers if they needed them to at some point. But 11, now you're not going to get 11 to play, but all between 6'1" and 6'4", all are at least 230 pounds. Some go up to close to 250. A couple of them are over 250.
Oh, when you see it without pads and everything, too, they look the part.
And I mean, for a while in football, it felt like there were, and maybe it was just here sometimes, but, for a while, Carolina had what I would have considered a smaller linebacker room. And what I mean by smaller is not numbers, but size.
Physically smaller.
And, I think a lot of folks, you can measure linebackers a certain way. And while we might all have the ideal of, at least for my generation, Lawrence Taylor, which is fair to no one, right? But around here locally, I go back to, say, a Jasper Brinkley, who, like you see Jap Brinkley, you're like, that's a linebacker.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like, in terms of just like talk about swarming to the ball.
Yeah,
if we want to isolate a trait here, that's a swarming to the ball type linebacker.
Yeah,
but on every play.
But with a pretty big man.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot more of that here. I want to come back around to some of the linebackers, too. 803-404-6100, Firehouse Subs text line. Again, start, bench, drop. Goose Island, Sierra Nevada, Wicked Weed, having some fun with breweries on National IPA Day. We'll update our poll question as well. And coming up, too, the top 25 college football coaches of the century. You're listening to the postgame show.
From the Wetzel's Automotive Traffic Studios, I'm Elijah Campbell with several accidents right now to get to you that are causing some issues on the roadways. Starting with one on I-26 westbound, Airport Boulevard near exit 113. We also have one on Mallet Hill Road at Sparkleberry Lane, North Royal Tower Drive at Broad River Road, Piney Woods Road near Piney Grove Road, Smyrna Road at Wildwood Lane, and lastly, an accident's causing some issues at US 21 at I-77.
.434 here on a Thursday. Welcome back in. Jay and Elijah with you. Ed Bird at Master Control. Terry has some time off. Langston Moore on tomorrow's program as we talk more about Carolina football camp, get into a few NFL things. Pretty much tonight, tomorrow, the weekend, everybody will be playing some preseason games. I think my Broncos have the Niners tomorrow night up in Charlotte. Some of you may go see Coach Deuce and the Browns take on the Panthers.
I mean, that's certainly the most interesting team in terms of preseason stuff to watch for. Not many teams have 5 quarterbacks in the room all vying for the same spot.
Yeah, and Shador's going to get the start. How they rotate him in and out. How much does Bryce Young play tomorrow night, you think?
I'd give him a series.
Yeah, that's about it. Some coaches are taking a different approach this year, and maybe, a lot of coaches kind of admitted maybe we stumbled out of the gate last year because we didn't play our ones enough, and now there are only 3 preseason games. I think soon enough you're going to go to 2 because I think soon enough the National Football League will play an 18th regular season game. That's what I think anyway.
I mean, more than likely.
But at some point you do need to probably play your starters in the preseason more than a series.
Don't get my hopes up, Jay Phillips, of actually having or being able to watch some star players play in the preseason.
How are you feeling as a New Orleans Saints fan?
Bad. Industry term.
About Spencer Rattler's chances of being the number 1. It feels like right now it's a rather tight competition, but kind of reading some of the things I've seen this week, Spencer's a little bit out ahead of Tyler Shook.
Yeah, from what I've read, Tyler Shook has played Shook so far in his first, week or 2 of training camp. It has not been good, and I was not that high on Shook to begin with. I was of the mind that Spencer Rattler would end up being the starter at the beginning of the season because you absolutely have to see what you have in him. Mm-hmm. I don't think you had an adequate enough sample size last year to really make a decision. And with the team being as bad as they are, look, there's not going to be many weapons. You're hoping Chris Olave is going to be healthy enough to give you 13 games this year. You could probably bake in 4 missed games because of injury. That poor guy's just not been able to stay healthy his entire NFL career. And it's worse, not just that he's been hurt, he's been getting concussions. So, there's a whole should he continue to play football thing that has probably been a factor in terms of discussing his future. You don't have a ton of weapons. You are rebuilding the offensive line. The defense is old. And Tyrann Mathieu just retired. Yeah. Cam Jordan, older, very long in the tooth. Demario Davis is still your best, linebacker. Maybe longer in the tooth than Cam Jordan. They're a step slower. And that's the one thing that in that run where they won all those consecutive division titles, they had the best defense in the division by a mile. Because those guys that I just alluded to, between Davis and Jordan, and you had some other pieces as well. Alex Anzalone was really good. They were fast, and they could swarm to the ball. They forced a ton of turnovers. Marshawn Lattimore was still one of the elite cornerbacks in football, and you had to trade him. You couldn't keep him. They've been in salary cap hell for 3 years now, too, so now you're going to have to start getting rid of guys. It's going to be another year where Spencer Rattler can still play well, and they'll still be bad.
Well, I did see, and forgive me, I think it was Daniel Jeremiah, and you probably don't want to hear this as a fan, and maybe Gamecock fans don't want to hear it for Spencer to further your last point. I think it was Daniel. Could have been Albert Breer. Actually, might have been Breer. Anyway, it was one of those guys who I really admire, and I say that, and I can't remember which one it was, but I do so much research, I can't remember. Anyway, said the Saints are going to be the worst team in the NFL.
I feel good about that. I have a really good feeling they're going to have the number 1 pick next year, and I don't think they're too terribly upset with that because I think this quarterback class can provide a potential guy, capital G.
There's a lot of people who, and by the way, there is a little bit of news on that, and I will get to this coach's story in just a second, but apparently Archie has come out and said, Arch, so grandpa is talking for grandson, Arch will go back to Texas next year.
Oh.
That's what Archie's saying today.
Yes.
Now, if Arch goes out and lights the world on fire.
If he wins a Heisman, I don't think you're coming back.
He didn't even have to win. I mean, I agree. If he wins a Heisman,
like that's one of those things.
But I don't think he has to. I think he can. I mean, he could be a finalist. Heck, he could be the second-team All-America quarterback behind a host of other dudes that might do it. Nussmeier, Lenoris, somebody we're not thinking of. Heck, Marcel Reed might take hold of the reins and just have
improves some certain
heck
things.
Of a year.
If he improves a couple things, Marcel Reed could be really good.
It could be Arch. I mean, heck, why? I'm not sleeping on Gunnar Stockton yet. Not to win the Heisman per se, but
to be good enough to be
I don't
somebody
think there's,
that changes the narrative on. Like he could be a narrative changer this year.
I don't think there's a lot of separation between Gunnar Stockton and Carson Beck.
Carson Beck was bad at times.
I don't. And maybe it's because Georgia couldn't run and he was forcing the ball too much.
Could very well be.
Could be.
Which is very un-Georgia-like.
It is. And you've got to be able to run the ball. And Georgia did go add some playmakers on as receiver as well. But regardless, I don't, what prompts Archie to come say that publicly? Does Archie not want him to play for Ms. Benson and the Saints? I mean,
I don't know. Archie has been historically shy about where his kids or grandkids go play football. So they've never made a big deal out of that ever.
No. Well, yeah. He did the right thing with the Chargers back in the day, though. They did the right thing. And I think 2 Super Bowl championships later, the Chargers would have never made the Super Bowl.
Would the Giants have made the Super Bowl with Phillip Rivers?
Yes. Yes.
I can see it.
He's good, man.
Phillip Rivers.
He's a good quarterback.
That
was a.
I mean, it's
close. Like Dan Patrick's
really
guys.
Really close.
Dan Patrick's guys always have the Hall of Very, Very Good. You know,
he certainly will always have a place in the Hall of Very Good.
I think Phillip Rivers' numbers warrant Hall of Fame. I do. But again, where he primarily played, they just that organization now they might because of who is coaching them.
Right. If he played with Coach Harbaugh.
Yeah. I think they do get to a Super Bowl. But I like that question that you asked. I don't think Eli takes the Chargers to the Super Bowl, much less 2 of them.
Yes.
I think Phillip Rivers absolutely could have taken the Giants to the Super Bowl and, like Eli, probably won both of them. I do. Yeah.
And who knows, maybe they could have won more.
Phillip Rivers is a better quarterback than Eli Manning.
Yes. I agree with that.
I mean, I like Eli. I think a lot of people dog on Eli because Eli is not Peyton, and that's not Eli's fault.
That's a high bar.
It is, man.
It doesn't help that guy is. It's one thing if they're playing in your division, or it's one thing if you have some other relation, but like that being your brother. Is a tough.
But he has 2 Super Bowl rings.
Comp.
Peyton has 2 Super Bowl rings. Yes, Peyton went to 2 more. He'd probably rather have. Well, no, he'd probably rather have gone and lost than not gone at all.
Yes.
But
winning conference titles is still a pretty cool deal.
Although one of them I can't remember. I know he lost one with the Colts, and then he won one with the Colts.
Oh,
he won one with Denver. But
did lose that one with Denver. It was a really close game.
No, I don't think they did.
I mean, it was neck and neck the entire time. It was totally not over by the first snap. It was really good. It actually came down to the final.
Didn't he play for somebody else for a minute, and then that was what that? I think you're wrong about that.
Yeah, I mean, he got the Broncos within a field goal of the Super Bowl.
I have a salsa stain to prove it.
Oh, what a harbinger of things to come that was. I mean, you want to teach, like you give literary lessons. I mean,
I've told it before, but I'll tell it again. I don't want to just be coy and not tell an entire story. My wife got me an awesome John Elway, Mitchell and Ness replica jersey from Super Bowl 32. I can't remember which one it was now. And I never wore it because it's so nice. I wore it to the Seahawks Broncos Super Bowl party at my friend Ben Brantley's house. And somewhere along the first quarter, I spilled salsa on it, and it's a white jersey.
That doesn't say it all.
And next thing I know, Denver is losing by like 1,000.
Well, because all it took was one play for them to at least give up points.
It was terrible. It was just.
I was running late to that Super Bowl party, and I was like, "We're gonna miss the first play. This sucks." And I was kind of like keeping up with it, like on Westwood 1, and I walk in, and I was like, "Okay, they're about to snap the ball for the first time. Let's go in there. We'll catch it." And we walk in, it's automatically 2-0. And I was like, "What did I miss?"
My buddy Edward Clark had my back all night, though, so I appreciate that. All right, Jay or nay coming up. Yeah, a little lettuce bringing us back here on a Thursday. Crank it up, Edbird. Let it roll. There it is. Jay and Elijah with you here, Edit Master Control. Top of the 5 headlines coming your way in a bit. I said I'd get to this. We'll spend some time on it maybe a little bit later on. Top 25 coaches of this century. This is from Sports Illustrated. You want me to fly through these real quick for you?
I mean, flying is quicker than driving.
It is.
Allegedly safer.
I'll go through these real fast. Starting from 25 and up. All right, 25, Jerry Moore, Appalachian State. Good call.
Okay, acceptable.
24, Lance Leipold, Kansas, Buffalo, and Wisconsin, Whitewater. David Shaw at Stanford. Bad ending to his time, but he did keep it going after Jim Harbaugh left.
Yep, which is not easy to do.
22, Rich Rod. Okay. I mean,
This is the entire century?
this century.
The century? Okay.
21, Les Miles.
Okay.
Won
You
a-
win a national
he won a title, and he had
you
some-
win a title on this list.
Yeah, he had some
or
good
you win
years
a title, you should be on the list.
in Stillwater. Not so good in Lawrence, Kansas.
Yeah.
Number 20, Steve Spurrier.
Wow.
Steve Spurrier, number 20. They say if this were a 1990s list, Spurrier would be in the top 5, but he was still very good this century. He talks about what he did, obviously, with the Gamecocks. Number 19, James Franklin.
Yep. Honestly, we make fun of him a lot for losing big games, but he might be a little low on this list.
Yeah. Won 9 games at Vanderbilt one year.
Which is the equivalent of winning 15 in a 12-game season anywhere else.
I don't disagree. Kalen DeBoer, number 18. Brian Kelly, 17. Still don't like what Brian Kelly did at Cincinnati in terms of just bolting the way.
There's a lot of things I don't like about what Brian Kelly's done in his career.
Kyle Whittingham, number 16. Man, underappreciated, underrated.
Probably should be top 10.
Yeah, it could be, man. I mean, what he's done with the Utes is impressive. Gary Patterson, fantastic coach at TCU. Jimbo Fisher, number 14, again, won a title.
Yeah.
Number 13, the late, great Mike Leach.
Yes.
Changed football in a lot of places, man.
Very appropriate.
Number 12, Chip Kelly, UCLA and Oregon. Great years at Oregon, not so much at UCLA.
No, absolutely.
Ryan Day, number 11. Again, won a title. Still a relatively short sample size, I guess. Small sample size.
He's got a good sample size now, I think.
Number 10, Jim Tressel, won a title.
Jim Tressel over Ryan Day as a choice.
Number 9, Mac Brown, won a title.
Mac Brown at all as a choice.
Number 8, Bob Stoops, won a title.
Okay, yeah, that's good. I like that.
Number 7, Chris Peterson, splitting his time at Washington and Boise. Didn't win a title, but made Boise a thing.
Yeah, he's responsible for one of the greatest games in the history of college football.
Because who was the guy before him that went to Colorado and then it just fizzled out? But Chris Peterson, man,
was it Hawkins? Coach Hawkins?
Sounds right. Dan
Hawkins? Yeah, that sounds about right.
Number 6, Jim Harbaugh.
Big Jim.
Number 5, Pete Carroll.
Yep, still.
Number 4, Kirby Smart.
At 4?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's won a couple titles.
Has played for another one.
Number 3, Dabo Swinney. Couple titles.
Okay, makes sense.
And some playoffs. 6 straight playoffs, actually, right? Or 7 overall. Does that sound right?
Pretty impressive.
All right, now 2 and 1. You kind of know who they are, but where do you think they are? This is probably not all that hard, right? Number 2.
Yeah, that'd be Urban Meyer.
Urban Meyer, exactly.
Yeah, winning titles with multiple schools puts you in another level.
And
these
that
are
is
the
also
two guys that do it. That did it.
And that's why Nick Saban is there at number 1. So there you go. That's Sports Illustrated. Check it out. You can read all about him.
You know what I noticed? There's one coach. There's only a couple of coaches on there who won titles that were not on the list.
For this century?
Yep.
Yeah, that's true. Well, it's Scott Frost.
Scott Frost, yes. Gene Chizik.
Yeah, probably doesn't make the list.
And Ed Orgeron.
Coach O. Probably shouldn't make the list either.
No.
All right, do we have time? We have like a minute for Jay or Nay, so we'll fly through these.
All right, Jay or Nay. Gavin Williams had a no-hitter broken up in the worst way yesterday. In the 9th inning, giving up a home run.
Yeah.
Because then you lose the shutout, too.
I was going to say, I could think of, well, that's pretty bad. So when you say Jay?
Yeah.
Because it does blow the shutout to you.
It does.
That's fair.
It's 2 birds with 1 stone.
That's fair.
Jay or nay, none of Phil Steele's projected top 4 in the Big 12 will win it. Those 4, Baylor, Utah, Iowa State, Arizona State.
The
The Big 12, where we're all pretty good.
I don't know. I think Utah's going to do it, so I'll give me Utah. So, nay.
It's a nay for you. J or nay, the Carolina Panthers will win at least 7 games.
Yeah, Jay. I think and in fact,
5 last year.
Kind of think they're going to go 7-10, man.
Okay.
And I think
Jeff Fisher would go 7-10 if he
I
gave
think
him an option.
Atlanta's going to go 8-9 and win the South.
Which would be disgusting.
I think that's going to happen. I really feel like I don't think the winner of the NFC South gets 10 wins. Let's put it that way.
No.
Somebody might go 9-8, but it would not surprise me if Atlanta or Charlotte or Carolina goes 8-9. Tampa, I don't know how good Tampa's going to be. And again, we talked about it earlier with Spencer Rattler and your Saints.
They'll win 4 games at most.
Not so good this year.
I'll be thrilled if they win 4.
Yeah, that probably won't make them the worst team in the NFL at that point. Headlines coming up.
From the Wetzel's Automotive Traffic Studios, I'm Elijah Campbell with a few accidents here to get to you that are causing some issues on the roadway, starting with one on Bush River Road at US 176 at Broad River Road. We also have an accident reported in front of River Bluff High School, so that's on Corley Mill Road between US 378 and Sunset Boulevard and South Carolina 6 and North Lake Drive. Have one on K Street at St. Andrews Road, Mallet Hill Road at Sparkleberry Lane, Rouch Metz Road at Dutch Fork Road, Highway 76, Smyrna Road at Wildwood Lane, Two Notch Road at Sparkleberry Lane, and lastly, one on US 21 at I-77.
It is 5 o'clock news time here on a Thursday. Welcome back in. It's also the final hour of the post-game show alongside Elijah Campbell. I'm Jay Phillips. Terry Ford enjoying some time off this week. Ed Bird is at Master Control. We start with Gamecock football news, and to the surprise of virtually no one in the United States of America, Lenora Sellers has been put on the preseason Davy O'Brien Award watch list.
That's a good watch list to be on.
The Davy O'Brien goes to the nation's best quarterback based on previous Division I career player performance as well as expectations heading into the 2025 college football season. That's what Carolina's release tells us. Again, 36 players. The midseason watch list will be released in October. Then the official class to be voted upon will be announced on Tuesday, October 28th. Semifinalists will be named on Wednesday, November 12th. And the award itself, Elijah Campbell, will be unveiled Thursday, December 11th during the Home Depot College Football Awards show on the Entertainment and Sports Programming Network. So...
Very nice.
Let me see if I can get you some of the others.
There are certainly worse watch lists that you can be on that exist in America.
Yeah. I don't think they have. Let's see. Yeah, they do. Here we go. Let's see if I can get the entire list for you. So y'all pay attention. There will be a quiz. These are all in alphabetical order.
I'm studying.
Drew Aller, Penn State. Luke Altmaier, Illinois. Alonzo Barnett, James Madison. Rocco Becht, Iowa State. Love that.
Rocco.
Carson Beck, Miami. Braylon Braxton, Southern Miss. Devin Dampier, Utah. Braden Fowler Nicolosi, Colorado State. Tucker Gleason from Toledo. What's Toledo? The Rockets? What? No,
They are the Rockets.
Rockets. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
the Fighting
yeah,
Bruce Gradkowskis is also an acceptable answer.
Not the Mud Hens. That's the baseball team. Taylon
Correct.
Green of Arkansas. Josh Hoover, Texas Christian. Blake Horvath, Navy. Nico Iamaleava, UCLA. Keon Jenkins, Florida International. Kevin Jennings, SMU. Avery Johnson, K-State. Haynes King, Georgia Tech. Cade Klubnik, Clemson. DJ Lagway, Florida. Sam Levitt, Arizona State. Maddox Madsen, Boise State. Arch Manning, Texas. John Mateer, Oklahoma. Owen McCown, Texas, San Antonio. Fernando Mendoza, Indiana. Darian Mensah from Duke. Chandler Morris from Virginia. Baron Morton, Texas Tech. Miller Moss, Louisville. Malik Murphy, Oregon State. Parker Navarro, Ohio. Garrett Nussmeier, LSU. Diego Pavia, Vanderbilt. Sawyer Robertson of Baylor. And Brendan Sorsby of Cincinnati. Those 35 young men all join Lenora Sellers on the 36-player Davy O'Brien watch list. And again, there will be a quiz at the end of the show.
Sounds like Nick Vattiato was robbed.
Are you making that up? Because I don't know if you are.
That is the quarterback from Middle Tennessee State Blue Raiders.
Oh, from your own Blue Raiders.
Yeah, I like how you pretended like you didn't know who that was.
That's right.
You pretended.
I should have.
I can see right through you.
I think players can be added to this, right? So if he has a big year.
Which, of course, he will.
The thing is, you need to have a big, like, September. You have to be like a Septisman winner.
Which, of course.
To get onto the list, because by mid-October, if you're not on the list, you're not on the list.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, always got to fight uphill. Disrespected by the national media once again.
By the way, Big 12 has 8 of these. That's the most.
The Big 12's a good quarterback league, man. Like, Sawyer Robertson might be one of the best competitions that Lenoris has on this list that people just don't talk about because obviously Baylor football is not a hot topic of discussion in SEC circles. That kid can play, and he had a really good end to last year too.
Well, and I'm not really picking on these folks here, but what if Bo Perbula has a good year for a good Missouri team?
Yeah.
What if Gunnar Stockton again? I mean, there's a reason to believe Gunnar Stockton's numbers are going to be all right. The Simpson kid at Alabama, I kind of got a hunch his September numbers are going to be pretty good.
Yeah, we'll find out week 1 when they go to Florida State. Like, Florida State, obviously, a 2-10 team last year, but that's still a test.
And
Gunnar Stockton gets to play Marshall.
Your boy Marcel Reed.
Yeah, I am a little surprised at Marcel.
I mean, listen, I think every SEC school, save State. And I think State even. I think Jeff. Who's he got? He's got
Blake Shapen.
Yeah,
who in 4 games last year was really productive.
Was solid, and he's got a good quarterback coach as his head coach
and a friendly offense.
I think every quarterback in the SEC is good, man. I mean, I genuinely
Some question
do.
marks. Like, I mean,
Here and
Austin
there.
Simmons can be, at Ole Miss, can be really good. They rave about him, man.
I mean,
they love him.
You know, again, Calzada at least has some rep behind him for what he could have been.
He did. Maybe he rehabilitated at Incarnate Word.
You know, I mean, that's a good program, and Kentucky needs him to do something.
Hey, the fella that just got taken #1 overall in the NFL draft got his start at Incarnate Word. So they have produced quarterbacks who have then gone on to a higher level of college football and have very well succeeded.
So we'll see. But anyway, if you want to learn more, DaveyO'BrienAward.com. Because, again, there will be a quiz later if you want to study up.
And I will ace it.
To the NFL we go, where Cam Hayward of the Steelers wants a new contract, so he is holding out. He did not dress today with Steelers practice being held and declined interview requests. He has 2 years left on his deal, $14.75 million this year, $13.45 having already been earned as a roster bonus. He's due $14.5 million next year. This past season, 8 sacks, 71 tackles, but is currently scheduled to be just the 36th highest paid defensive lineman in the NFL, and more specifically, the 18th highest paid defensive tackle. I look forward to speaking with our good friend Langston Moore about this tomorrow. You got 2 years left. You're 36. They're scheduled to pay you a shade under $30 million. How much more can you really
ask for?
At
that
right
point
now?
in time.
I mean, if anything, ask for some incentives. Like, hey, but I if he was 26,
all over.
Okay,
all over it.
But he's not, and I just. And so I do. I want to ask Langston. Like, I get it. I get why guys hold out, and there are plenty of time. I remember Deuce talking to me about when he held out one year, and why, and it ended up working out for him. But and I remember him breaking down the details. And one day I'm sure he'll be happy to tell that story again because he told it on air, like he told it off air. But in this case, I like how what do you want? I mean, how much more are we really talking? Again, get your agent in there and say, hey, Mr. Rooney, can you throw in a couple mil if we get to 10 sacks? Can you throw in another $500,000 if we get to 75 tackles?
Make the All-Pro team like he did last year. He was first team All-Pro.
So
last year.
Great player, and a hell of a career. But dude, you're getting $30 million. The next 29
For a guy
million.
his age and his mileage in the league, he's absolutely making a pretty good living there.
Not bad. The Atlanta Braves lost last night to the.
Stop breaking news to me that I'm not expecting, Jay Phillips. I don't know if my faint heart can take it.
It just hurts. They were winning, and then they weren't.
You do have to play the whole game. Yeah.
What if could they maybe not do that anymore? Could you just, like, if the Braves take a lead and hold on to it for 4 innings, can we just count that as a win?
Can always unplug the lights.
Because that would be.
Sorry, game suspended.
That would be better.
A little bit of a power outage.
That would be better. The Milwaukee Brewers, meanwhile, just went on a 6-game road trip in Washington and Atlanta. Not going to lie to you, kids. Not the toughest places this season to win baseball games. But listen to this. The Milwaukee Brewers. Now, Major League Baseball has been around for 20, 30 years? Oh, no, sorry. More like 150 years.
It's a new league. Yeah.
The Brewers are the first team in the history of Major League Baseball to have a road trip of any length, and in this case, 6 games, where they scored 50-plus runs, didn't lose, and didn't commit an error. No one's ever done that in the history of the sport. Now, there have been some good teams to go play in bad places. The first team in the history of Major League Baseball to go on a road trip of any length, score 50 or more, not lose, and not commit an error.
You know the craziest thing about this Milwaukee Brewers team and how they're just manufacturing runs all over the place. I'll give you one guess, Jay Phillips, to guess how many players on this Milwaukee Brewers team that has hit over 10 home runs? Oh, no, over 9. So players on the team that have double-digit home runs this year.
Let's go with 3.
And you nailed it.
Hey.
Exactly 3. Jay Phillips is your winner today. Would you like to guess? So their team leader in home runs is Christian Yelich. He's turned the clock back a little bit.
Yeah.
Would you like to guess how many home runs he has as the team leader?
I mean,
We are in August.
let's go like 18, 19,
A little better, 21.
21. Okay.
He's the only one above 20. They're not hitting the ball out of the ballpark
Right.
a ton at all. And in today's baseball, that's all teams focus on sometimes, is there's such a heavy emphasis on hitting home runs. And the Brewers just don't need to. Like, they have a great pitching staff. They field the ball really well. And when they're able to manufacture runs the way they have in the last 2 series, they look unstoppable. And that's kind of been their MO the last couple of years, is they don't have a ton of sluggers on the team, but they've got a bunch of dudes with really good on-base percentages. Everybody in that normal starting lineup, with the exception of Joey Ortiz at shortstop, has an OPS plus of 100, meaning you are well above average in the stat of OPS. They don't kill themselves with errors, too.
Yeah.
Like, they just don't beat themselves. They have a really reliable bullpen. And again, that pitching rotation's deep. The Miz is out, for...
He'll be back, though.
He'll be back.
And thank goodness for him, it's not an arm thing. He got hit with a ball the other night on the shin or whatever.
Yeah.
So,
He'll be good. He'll be good.
Because when I first saw I was like, oh, no. I was like, oh, good. Whew. Like, he's not his arm.
Yes.
Braves are at home through the weekend. In fact, they're going to play 5 games against the Marlins this weekend in 4 days. Tonight, 7:15, first pitch. Yuri Perez. Listen, y'all, the Marlins only a game under 500 and are technically still in the wild card hunt. They are 9 games better than the Atlanta Braves. This for the better part of the last decade, the Marlins have been a glorified AAA team.
They have not been trying very hard to win.
But this year they are much better than the Braves. Yuri Perez, 4-3 with a 2.70, goes for the Fish. The Braves send Carlos Carrasco to the hill. He's 2-2 with a 5.68.
In the year of our Lord 2025, sending Carlos Carrasco to the mound.
Oh, God.
Not ideal.
We're as fans, whoever you pull for, there are years when you must suffer. I understand that.
Yeah, it's the fan tax. Yeah,
And,
you must pay the fan tax.
And this is it. I don't want another one anytime soon, please.
Welcome to my life, dude.
I know, and you and Terry both are like, do you know how many? And I'm like, yeah, but if that was my team, like I grew up with that. Like my high school and early college years, dude, I feel your pain. The Braves were wretched, dreadful, horrible. So I've been there, and now I like the other way. The other way is better.
But you've gotten to live to see your team win a World Series twice.
It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, I bet it is. I would like to do that someday.
I just like a competitive team. I mean, I want them to win the World Series, and but they're 9 games worse than the Marlins.
It's tough.
The Marlins are like the old lady in Major League. Like, we still have a team here in Cleveland. Yeah, we got uniforms and everything. It's great.
Uniforms. The Marlins have uniforms. They have a ballpark.
They do. There you go. Finally, speaking of baseball, this is pretty cool. I don't talk often about the New York Metropolitans, but the Mets on August 15th are honoring the Beatles' 60th anniversary performance at Shea Stadium with Beatles Night at Citi Field. A 50-minute documentary called The Beatles at Shea Stadium captured the show. They're going to do some of that. That actually sounds pretty cool, man. First 15,000 would get an exclusive Shea Stadium replica, like Beatles ticket.
Oh, that's sick.
That's pretty cool.
That's a cool souvenir.
That's pretty
I'd
cool.
like that.
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. That's our headlines of the day, brought to you by Integrated Media. Our Gamecock Notebook is next. A lot more sound from camp. You're listening to the postgame show. Welcome back in. Post-game show rolls on here. Our Gamecock notebook now. Jay and Elijah. Ed Bird, if you would, sir, before we get into them, pull up yesterday's. We got some things to get to from yesterday's cut list as well, which Elijah also was part of down at the football facility. And yesterday, our good friend Lulu Kesson was on with us as well. And tomorrow, Langston Moore on the program.
Yeah.
Today,
Feels like football season again. Get Langston on a Friday.
Today is National IPA Day. And so we got a couple things going on there. First off, Elijah is nearing his selections. Again, Elijah, of course, and I did this show for a long time together. Elijah is now with Jen and Preston on the morning show, but he has volunteered his services. But I'm not going to let him be a complete volunteer. I am paying Elijah tomorrow for doing this in a case of beer of his choice. Now, we're both IPA fans, and today, as pure coincidence and luck would have it, today is National IPA Day. So I'll probably go home and have an IPA before I cook some kind of dinner.
You and me both.
So there
I
you
have
go.
a stop to make on the way home.
I should have brought you something. I feel bad about that now. But
the prize is coming.
it is. It is. So we've asked you, in honor of National IPA Day, because these people make good IPAs, Start, Bench, Drop, Goose Island Brewing, Sierra Nevada, and Wicked Weed. And I had somebody ask, just their IPAs or the whole brewery? The whole thing, all selections count. And we're not going to... it's just in honor of National IPA Day. Michael says, start Sierra Nevada, bench Wicked Weed, drop Goose Island. Let's see. Robert says, start Sierra Nevada, bench Goose Island, drop Wicked Weed. Rusty says, start Sierra Nevada, family-owned and awesome tap room. Yep, to both. Bench Goose Island, drop Wicked Weed for selling out to Anheuser-Busch. I get your take on that, Rusty, but I hate to break it to you, man.
Someone's got to do it.
Goose Island actually sold out to Anheuser-Busch first. Wicked Weed's sellout came later. They also did Anheuser-Busch Elysian Brewing out of Seattle, which also makes excellent beer, including one of my all-time favorites, Space Dust.
Space Dust is a classic.
It is.
That's one of the first ones I had.
It is awesome.
Hated it first because I had it when I was like 19. And the IPA love kind of just developed the older I got.
Yes.
And then I got to the point when I was like 23, 24, I was like, oh, these are the best.
Yeah.
And then I tried it again like a year or two ago, relatively recently, and fell in love with it.
Oh, Space
It's
Dust
great.
is awesome.
Space Dust is awesome.
So I hate to break it to you, Rusty. I get your reasoning, and I'm not here to – I don't want to disappoint you. I really don't.
I have the same relationship with Space Dust as I do cauliflower. Hated it as a kid, man. Wouldn't touch it with a 10-foot pole. It's my favorite veggie now. It's great.
Yeah, I do like cauliflower.
I love
And Aaron says, start Sierra Nevada. Pale Ale might be my favorite beer ever, he says. Look, original Sierra Nevada, absolutely. And the light green, absolutely. It's just a go-to like none other. Bench Wicked Weed, great brewery experience in Asheville. Amen. Cut Goose Island, probably because we don't get it down here much anymore. Yeah.
I have not seen a lot of Goose Island here in terms of it being in like grocery stores or gas stations or bars.
Probably not going to be in the gas stations, and maybe not even the bars too much.
I will say,
got to go to your bottle shops.
When I really got into IPAs, Goose Island's one of the first ones I really got into.
It's tasty,
but it was in every single gas station in Tennessee.
It's good, man.
Like sometimes that'd be the only IPA available at certain gas stations. What's Goose Island?
We also today have asked you which of these Southeastern Conference quarterbacks is most important to his team's success this season. In alphabetical order, Talon Green of Arkansas, DJ Lagway of Florida, Diego Pavia of Vanderbilt, Lenoris Sellers of South Carolina. Not surprised that Lenoris is out front. Maybe a little surprised that Lenoris is this far out front.
It's dominant.
And a lot of you just may be believing that it's more of a popularity contest. So I'm just go Lenoris, which is fine.
Yeah.
It's not really
but not
what I
the
was
question.
It's not really what I was going for, but probably you just see Lenoris and you're a Gamecock fan and you hit Lenoris. And that's fine. But 73.4% of you say Lenoris, 17.9% Diego Pavia, 7.5% DJ Lagway, and just 1.2% say Talon Green. Brian just hit us and says, it was tough between Lagway and Pavia. I didn't choose Lenoris because I firmly believe we have depth at that position with Doty, Nolan, and Woods behind Sellers. And that echoed something that another listener named Casey said. How can anyone, he texted or tweeted in, how can anyone say confidently that our quarterback room is bad enough, there is no hope outside of Sellers versus Taylon Green, which is who I chose. That being said, with Diego, Vandy will have a losing season, and Florida can't count them out. So, yeah, that's kind of how I felt. And you chose
Taylon Green.
I did too. I can't vote on my own poll, but if I were to choose one of these four, and I will, I also chose Taylon Green. I think if Arkansas were to lose Taylon Green, a 6-6 team probably goes like 3-9.
Oh, they go maybe 2-10.
Yeah. Pavia, I might put second, and then sort of a toss-up between Lenoris.
Yeah.
Because, again, Florida's got talent and Carolina's got talent.
Yes.
And look, the reason I chose these four is because I do think relative to even, Nussmeier or Manning, I think these guys mean inordinately more. I don't know what Prabul is going to be yet in terms of what Mizzou needs him to be, or the two guys. Mateer has a lot on his shoulders, and he's never played in this conference.
And very limited experience playing against Power 4 competition.
But with these four, we saw, how crucial they were. And again, measuring success this year, what I define that as for these guys is taking what you did last year in terms of your win total and adding at least one to it.
Yeah, taking a step.
Yeah, I mean, you've got to go holding steady. Again, if South Carolina were to hold steady at 9-3, is that a bad season? No, it's not. It's a very good season, actually, no matter how you slice it up and no matter who you lose to if you go 9-3 again. But depending on what those three are, does it put you back in the playoff discussion like you were in last year? That I don't know, because, again, who'd you lose to and how'd you lose? That's always going to be part of the question and answer, when it comes to what the committee looks at. So success, I define as what you did last year plus at least one more.
And improving on it, too, right? That's the goal for everybody, is to be better than you were the year before. And for some of these programs that these guys that are quarterbacking that are on, this poll, Lenoris and DJ Lagway have the biggest opportunity. There's a ceiling on what Vanderbilt can be, and that's just being as honest as humanly possible. Vanderbilt winning 9 games like they did under James Franklin, something that will probably never happen again. I love Diego Pavia as much as the next guy. I love Eli Stowers as much as the next person. I think Clark Lee is the perfect coach for that job, and he might have that longer than anybody who's ever had the Vanderbilt coaching job. But there is almost a hard ceiling at 8 regular season wins, and that would be one of the best seasons in that program's history. They are just constantly operating with a hand tied behind their back, even though the athletic department has improved significantly over just the course of the last year and a half, right? Mm-hmm. But there's a ceiling, and for guys like Lenoris and DJ, the goal is to get to the playoff, but DJ Lagway's road there and Florida's road there is so much more difficult that it's more obtainable for South Carolina. It's more obtainable for Lenoris Sellers. He's really the only guy on this list where it's not playoff or bust. I don't firmly believe that, but that's what the next step would be based on how good you were last year.
It would, yeah. Because if South Carolina's
that close.
Yeah, if South Carolina's 10-2, unless there's just a fluky thing where there's a whole bunch of 10-2s or something.
Right.
You're in the playoff, right? I mean, you're because, again, we talked about Tennessee last year. Tennessee was a very, very mildly impressive 10-2, and they got in the playoff. And they deserved it. I don't mean that, but I mean
they were 10-2 despite themselves at times.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Real quick here, I know you talked to Boaz Stanley yesterday. Cut number 8, please, Ed, from yesterday's list. Here's the presumed Gamecock starting center on working with Lenoris in the preseason.
I think it's been fun. I mean, we've kind of this is our second day we've had, so it's kind of been working out all the kinks of just starting fall camp and working again, like in practices and not just walkthroughs. So I think it's been, fun. It's been fun to get back out there, and he's a really good player, so it's cool to see him do everything that he does, and he's a good leader, so it's just fun to play with him.
Elijah was down there, and he had another theme question that I want to have him tell us about as we get our drive around the SEC. That's next.
From the Wetzel's Automotive Traffic Studios, I'm Elijah Campbell. The few accidents to get to you, they're causing some issues on the roadways, starting with a pair of them on Two Notch Road. Well, one's an accident, one's a disabled vehicle. The accident's over closer to Sparkleberry Lane. The other disabled vehicle is at Two Notch Road at Parkland Road and Decker Boulevard. We also have accidents on K Street at St. Andrews Road, Garner's Ferry Road at Pineview Road and Hallbrook Drive, Farrow Road at Highway 555 at Killian Road, Corley Mill Road between US 378 and South Carolina 6. That's in front of River Bluff High School. And we have two more, one on Bush River Road at US 176 at Broad River Road, last one at American Italian Way at Pineview Drive.
It is Drive Around the SEC time here on this Thursday. Jay and Elijah with you. Ed Bird at Master Control. Get into a few things on the strength of schedule. Again, every school in the Southeastern Conference is, at least in the preseason, and Elijah made a good point about this, at least in the preseason, every school is in the top 20 of strength of schedule. Now, that will change through the course of the year. I suppose. I mean, they might all stay, but
if they're as good as the SEC says they are,
yeah,
then it will.
Yeah. But we'll start with Garrett Nussmeier, and I wrote on my I wrote on my rundown here because we already mentioned the Beatles today, so this is coincidence because I didn't know I was going to do that Shea Stadium story until just a little while ago. But this morning I put this down that the Garrett Nussmeier injury rumor is the biggest rumor since Paul is dead.
All right, so is that going to create conspiracy theories? Conspiracy theories that Garrett Nussmeier is not actually out there playing, but it is a body double because he suffered an injury in camp?
I suppose, man. This is Nick Schultz from On3 and the site that covers it's the Bengal Tiger. That's like their version of Gamecock Central. He says Garrett Nussmeier is fine after being helped off the practice field yesterday. He left due to an apparent injury during a closed practice. He says concern began to grow around Nussmeier after news of his departure from practice made its way across social media. However, the Bengal Tiger is reporting there was no need to hit a panic button, and the expectation, I love this though, and the expectation is that the redshirt senior will be all right. But, I mean, for a little while yesterday, I think there was panic in that, like, oh, I think Nussmeier's out for the year. And, I mean, it was going, it was going nuts.
Panic spread.
It was going nuts.
Wide, if you will.
It was going nuts. Yes, it was widespread panic. But apparently he's fine.
Yeah, I from what I gather, too, by people who cover the team and are around the facility, yes.
And you know what? Let's say his knee is really, really sore. Here's what you do. You don't play him for a week. Now, here's I have a serious question because that's what you do. You just don't you just don't get him out there for
put him
a
on
week.
the shelf. Yeah.
But I feel like Brian Kelly is the kind of coach you'd be like, well, if he's not practicing, yeah, you got to get out there and get better. I was like, bro, you know what this guy can do. He's had 4,000 yards. You know what your boy can do. If he doesn't treat this almost NFL-ish.
Yes. I mean, you don't need more sample size for Garrett Nussmeier. You've seen him in action.
And I realize who they opened the season with and where. And if you don't recall, it's at Clemson. But, you know, that game is on the 30th. There are more than enough days left in this month for him to both heal, should the need arise, and continue to be fully physically and mentally prepped to go to Clemson. The good thing for LSU, and I'm dead serious about this, is Clemson a difficult place to win? Of course it is. Of course it is. But LSU goes to difficult places to win 4 or 5 times a year.
They just haven't been able to do it in the first game of the year since 2019.
So, you know,
snake bitten in that department.
I would hate to think that Brian Kelly would be the kind of coach from a mindset perspective to know that Garrett might be just a little gimpy for a few days, but still have him going through full drills because, well, that's what we got to do. I would, but and yet there's a part of me that believes Brian Kelly is that guy. Am I doing it wrong?
Could be, but I think at this point of Brian Kelly's career, he knows how important this season is for him to be able to continue coaching at Louisiana State University, and how close he's been to getting to win a national championship. This is his meal ticket right here. Even though one thing I did learn at SEC Media Days just from talking to people, there's one person that told me the best quarterback for LSU is on the roster, and his name is not Garrett Nussmeier.
Who?
They have a true freshman.
Yeah.
They're really high on, but he's maybe not ready yet. But
I don't want a true freshman having to go to Clemson on day one.
No.
And that's not going to be the case, but I just look at what, I don't know. Again, I might be reading too much, or actually I might be speaking something into existence by believing that Brian Kelly would push his quarterback in the the first or second week of August if he's got, again, just a little knee something.
If he does, then he is not the coach we made him out to be.
Fair.
At that point, because you don't do that. I mean, you put him in bubble wrap until the season starts.
Yeah, I mean, again, if he's and look, if by say August 30th, the Saturday, if by the the Saturday before, the 23rd, if you feel like he's not ready, then you have a different set of problems to begin with.
Yeah,
and I don't think, again, from everything it sounds like, this thing was incredibly overblown. Like I say, the biggest rumor since Paul is dead. I don't know of any other rumors that are that big.
I had a buddy try to convince me that Paul McCartney was dead.
He's not.
And he's not. I had to say, all right, buddy, listen here. We got to have a talk. I'm going to need you to take that phone, see that lock button, lock the screen. I'm going to need you to put it in a drawer and let it sit there for about 12 hours.
Yeah.
And then you can have it back.
Yeah. It's good. Smart. You're a good friend.
Yeah. Sometimes you have to tell your friends things they don't want to hear.
Drive around the SEC continues. Again, all 16 Southeastern Conference schools have a schedule strength in the top 20 based on the ESPN FPI. Now, I don't know where the EFPI would rank them.
It would certainly not have Missouri in the top 20.
And Missouri is last at number 20. Have you seen this yet? So
I have not.
If I asked you, I'm going to.
Okay.
Of the top 20, I want you to tell me how many schools there are ranked in terms of schedule strength before we get to a non-SEC school in this top 20.
I'll say 7.
Okay. I'm going to play Price is Right with you now.
Ooh.
Higher.
12.
Lower.
10.
Higher.
11.
11 SEC schools are the top 11 in schedule strength going into the season, according to ESPN, before Wisconsin at number 12. Then, I'll tell you who they are now. Florida, Vandy, Oklahoma, Texas, Arkansas. That's your top 5. State, Kentucky, Georgia, A&M, Bama, LSU. Then we get to Wisconsin at 12. Then South Carolina at 13. Auburn, Tennessee, Mississippi is number 16. Syracuse.
The Cuse, it's loose.
And I think this is probably because they have Tennessee as a non-con, so that boosts them up a little bit. They're 17th. Ohio State is 18th. There's your first Big Ten school, or second Big Ten school,
Ohio State, who has Texas coming to town week 1, is
because Wisconsin's in the Big Ten, Jay. You should know that by now. UCLA is in the Big Ten. They are number 19. And the aforementioned Missouri Tigers are at number 20. 11 schools. Top 11.
Just can't convince me Missouri's got a top 20 schedule in college football.
Missouri has...
Can't convince me.
Let me get to the Missouri schedule for you just to see what people think here. You got time for this? Yeah, I do. Central Arkansas.
Yeah, Scottie Pippen's tough.
Kansas.
Yeah, Bill Self runs a good program over there.
Louisiana. That's the Cajuns, formerly Lafayette. They just like to be Louisiana these days.
Billy Nate Brandt walking through that door either.
And their other non-con is the mighty Minutemen of Massachusetts.
No, you do have to play. Yeah.
Marcus Campy's not walking through that door. Dr. J.
Dr. J. Not walking through. We can have a hell of a UMass off here.
And then
throw out Victor Cruz.
Their away games in conference are Auburn, Vanderbilt, Oklahoma, and Arkansas.
Only one team that won more than. 2 teams that won 7 games in total after the bowl game.
Yeah. Which makes their home games Mississippi State,
2-10 last year.
A&M, Alabama.
Tough game.
And South Carolina.
They've got like 4 tough games.
But that's the 20th.
And you're telling me that's the 20th hardest schedule in
20th
college
hardest
football?
schedule in the country.
I ain't buying that.
For what it's worth, again.
Did Mark Twain make this list?
UCLA is right in front of them, and Rutgers is right behind them. If I can do this real fast, let's see who Rutgers has. Rutgers has Ohio, Miami of Ohio, Norfolk State, Iowa, Minnesota, Washington, Oregon, Purdue, Illinois, Maryland, Ohio State, Penn State. That sounds harder.
Yeah.
Maybe not
outside the first 3 games.
not the
outside of those, yes.
Yeah. That's our drive around the SEC poll results. Our own start bench drop. I see the Godfather has weighed in on start bench drop, so we'll get that for you too. And a little Jay versus the Internet is the postgame show. All right, welcome back. Final few minutes of the post-game show on this Thursday. Jay Phillips, Elijah Campbell, Ed Bird at Master Control as Terry enjoys time off. Langston on tomorrow's program. We're celebrating National IPA Day. Final few here. Franklin says, start Wicked Weed, bench Sierra Nevada, drop Goose Island.
That's our first non-Sierra Nevada starter.
Yeah. Andrew and T both say, drop them all and pour me a Guinness. Hey, that's what you like. I told her all three of these breweries make a fine stout if you're in for a stout.
Let's say broaden your horizons.
Yeah,
I would encourage
Guinness,
you to broaden your
Guinness
horizons.
is what I would call a mega beer.
Yes.
It's like Budweiser.
Very large company.
Coors Light. You know,
Yeah.
they make a lot of it.
Yeah.
And then some.
They crank them out, man.
and then they make some more.
There'll never be a drought. Let's say that.
And Moody says, send them all back to the minors and call up Sweetwater 420. Hey, fine choice.
Sweetwater 420 is fantastic.
It is.
Yes.
Sweetwater 420
Honestly,
is
we could
great.
have thrown Sweetwater in here, and it might have been a little more competitive.
Sweetwater IPA is great. They make some good beers.
Sweetwater makes,
First time I had it was the Peach Bowl, Carolina Auburn, or excuse me, Carolina Florida State, and same year as Auburn in the same building. My wife and I were at the hotel bar. We stayed at the Marquee right there in downtown, and I had it one night, Sweetwater, and the next day we took the train up to Lenox, and the train goes right by Sweetwater. Well, at the time I was like, I just figured because so many craft beers, this is what 15 years ago. So many craft beers from the Northeast. I was like, oh, I guess that's the Sweetwater. Like I had that beer last night. I guess that's their like Southern distributor. So I go back to that same night to the same bar in the hotel. I'm like, hey, we passed that Sweetwater place. Like where are they out of? And he goes, oh no, that's it, man. Like you passed them. I was like, oh,
You
they're
saw
from
it.
Atlanta. He was like, yeah, they're here. I was like, oh, I had
They're
no idea.
local.
Yeah, so that was pretty cool. I'm going to. I'll give you mine real quick here, and then we'll do the internet. I am starting Wicked Weed.
Starting Wicked
I'm
Weed.
starting
okay.
Wicked Weed. I am I know they sold out now. I mean, that happens, and they're a big business, but they still are making all their beer in Asheville, including tons of great beers that they still make on site there on the spot on Biltmore. I love Wicked Weed. I love going to Wicked Weed. I love their beers. I am benching Sierra Nevada because Sierra Nevada makes so many great beers, and you can never go wrong with any of them. And that's why I said my bench needs to be deep.
It does.
And that
You need
gives me excellent starters and a really deep bench. Goose Island makes great beers too. Again, this is not easy, but I'm dropping Goose Island. So starting
not
Wicked
easy,
Weed,
yeah.
benching Sierra Nevada. And
Mine's the same way because you talked me into it. Because Pernicious is my favorite beer of all time.
It's
Like number
awesome.
one. If I
awesome.
could only drink one beer for the rest of my life, it's Wicked Weed's Pernicious.
Excellent choice.
And Wicked Weed's got other good stuff too. I like
Freak of Nature is
Freak of
probably
Nature's
mine.
really good.
It's a double, but it's you got to be careful. But
That's one, yeah. I mean, maybe you plan at most to drink 3 or 4 if you don't want your head to hurt the next day. That's why I tell people about Voodoo Ranger. Like, I like drinking Voodoo
it's good.
Rangers. Voodoo
Also
Rangers are good.
Made right on the river in Asheville.
But, like, dude, after 3, 4, the next day, my head don't feel too good.
Yeah.
I'm not, like, super hungover, but, like, my head doesn't feel great.
The Godfather weighed in real quick, too. Let me get to this. Godfather says, start Goose Island. Their tap handles are awesome. Bench Wicked Weed.
It is the head of a goose.
It is. It's fun.
That's hard to beat.
He says, bench Wicked Weed because the people that created it are awesome. Yeah, those are great brothers. And drop Sierra Nevada. Tap handles are mundane, and I don't know the people that started it. Okay.
I do like the rationale here.
That's right.
though. I
Tap
mean,
handles
that's-
matter, man.
And to just tell you about Sierra Nevada, like that's if they're only getting dropped because of the tap handles and because the Godfather isn't familiar with the creators,
Right.
which is a them problem, not
Yeah,
a,
we need
not
to-
a
we
Brian
need to
problem.
get-
It's a them problem, not a Brian issue.
We need to get somebody to introduce him to those folks. They live out in California, I think. No, they probably live in like Hawaii or something now.
I was going to say they've made enough money.
Yeah, probably do.
they probably
live where they want.
make. They make a pretty good living.
There you go. So good stuff. But happy National IPA Day to all who celebrate. And I'll be celebrating shortly.
I will absolutely be.
I'll send out a picture of whatever I have. I'm not sure what I'm going to have yet. I'll
See,
figure it out.
I was thinking Pernicious, but I just said over there, it's like my favorite. I need to broaden my horizons a little bit. I've gotten so many good recommendations.
When do you want to give me the recommendations for what I'm paying you with tomorrow?
I'll give it to you by the time my show ends tomorrow morning.
Okay.
So by 9 o'clock,
that gives me time.
It gives you time. It gives me a little more
Lunchtime,
time
I'll
to
go
to
get
think
whatever
about
you
it.
want. I'm getting you a case of whatever you want.
Because go through the text line. There are a lot here that have been really solid.
Might even get you a bonus single or two, just because
I've gotten a couple of hop slams as recommendations.
Hop slams,
I've
great.
never had hop slam.
Hop Slam is great. Have you ever had Hop Drop and Roll from up at Noda in Charlotte?
No.
Oh, dude.
Well, I'm putting that on the list for sure.
Hop Drop and Roll.
Hop,
is
drop, and roll.
Excellent. Noda Brewing, Charlotte, NC.
Hop, drop, and roll. Okay, yeah. Give me. I will tell you now. I'll give you a little bit of a teaser here. I will take at least 6 hop, drop, and rolls if you can find them.
I think. Well,
should be able
they
to,
come in the
Charlotte, yeah.
4-pint
Oh,
pack.
okay.
So they sell the pint cans. They don't
okay.
sell the 6s.
Interesting.
So I could technically get you 4 of those and still figure out a way.
And we could wiggle out
Yeah,
the rest in terms
something
of
like that.
what we could do.
All right, we'll do Jay versus the internet offline.
Oh yeah. Or we could just do it tomorrow because the baseball slate tonight sucks.
Okay, good enough.
There's only 2 games tonight,
And one of them's the Braves.
and one of them's the
If
Reds
that counts
too.
as a game.
Our favorite teams play tonight.
Yeah, that's good. Well, your team will
It's
probably
good for
win.
us.
Mine.
We are playing the Pirates, but Paul Skeens is pitching,
Ooh, that could be fun.
so there's intrigue.
All right. Again, happy National IPA Day. Ed Bird, thank you, sir. Thanks to all of you for participating. See y'all tomorrow.
Ed Bird's the man.